Here comes the here comes the quick cut. Dang it! I forgot to prepare for the quick cut, Shanth. I was watching how he puts that trailer in front of his stream, and he has another like Shanth and Jetty art clip that happens right after the Spring Brawl trailer. So that's the buffer for him. I've got no buffer, and so I'm always caught unawares whenever that stream is going to end. I'm sorry, that trailer is going to end. But what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. It's My Wednesday Comics for the week of April 9th. Holy moly. And it's going to be a good one. We've got a lot of comics to get through today, so I'm not going to shoot the fat that much. I don't think I need to shoot the fat that much at the beginning of this stream, just because we have a lot to get through. Way more than normal, which is awesome. Not great for my wallet, but great for comics news, comics excitement for the week. And it was quite a journey jumping around the city trying to get what I needed to get. And I'll go into that a little bit more as what are we doing right now? We shoot the fat, right? Shoot the fat. No sound effect there yet, but it'll come. It'll definitely come as I continue to work on this channel and all the little bells and whistles for this channel. But welcome everyone here. My name is Rocky Ballesteros. This is My Wednesday Comics, and it's just a time to celebrate the new comics that are coming out this week, as well as stuff that interests me, hence the parentheses my. I'm not one of those reviewers that reviews every single book that comes out, because to be honest, I don't like every single book that comes out. So I like to talk about the things that excite me, that catch my attention, that tickle my fancy. That's a weird phrase. But I like to just talk about the things that just excite me over the course of the week for comics, and there's plenty of that this week. So thanks for joining me. Hit that like and subscribe. I got to always say that at the beginning of this stream, just because we are slowly building this channel, building whatever it is you want to call this YouTube world. But we're building this channel, 514 subscribers, which is incredible. Super exciting for me, little me, to build this channel as we have. And we've got a lot of great things in store outside of My Wednesday Comics and outside of the other things that I stream about. I've got a lot of things in the works of just trying to build this channel out a little bit more things that interest me, things that might interest you, hopefully, and just to, deepen what it is that you can get from here and hopefully attract more people to come. So yeah, hit that like, hit that subscribe. I so appreciate everybody that's here already. And of course, the original mod squad that always shows up is always in the chat for me. Like this man, faster than a ninja today, Mark's Music Obsession. Mark, first in the chat. So good to see you. Always great to see you, Mark. And always nice to run into you on other streams as well, like Shanth's stream. And definitely you are such a great friend and support in this YouTube world, in the chat world. And I so appreciate your presence. So I'm so glad that you were here first in chat, and saw a couple of the comments flying around here that it's been tough with your big house. And I really feel for you, Mark. I know it's a tough thing to get used to for sure. So hopefully we can give you a little bit of a escape, if you will, or just a little bit of a distraction with all the zany, weird things we talk about today. Who did Mark's Music Obsession beat in the chat? But none other than the chat ninja, Comrade Sammy. What's up, Comrade Sammy? She says, Mark, yeah, whatever. I'll be first next time for sure. You're always, a lot of the times, you're first, Comrade Sammy. So it's surprising. Mark always has the bum notifications that don't let him know this stream is going on. So there you go. Can't win them all, but awesome to see you nonetheless. And also Cranberry Landers. What's up, Cranberry?
This is a cranberry full of power.
Excuse me. Always great to see see you, Cranberry. Jeez Louise. I wasn't coughing before I hit go live on the stream, and I even took some cough medicine, as you guys know, just getting over the allergies. They're still around. I thought maybe they'd dissipate and be done with them, but they're kind of lingering still. Just when I think I've kicked it, they come back. But I haven't coughed all day until I just opened my big yapper just now once I hit go live, and all of a sudden I'm coughing. So sorry for that. What's up? Happy Wednesday. That's right. It's a good Wednesday. Beautiful day today. I love that guys got to join me last week on the zoo sketch stream. That was really fun. And today is actually another beautiful day. I considered going to the zoo, but I'm like, oh, no, we got to go to the comic book store today. And I actually went to 3 comic book stores, which is nutty. But let me make sure I get everybody in the chat, and then we can talk about why I had the craziest, nuttiest comic book run this morning. Mark says, oh yeah, thanks for that, Cranberry. Trying it's been tough. This big empty house is a sad place now. It's really sad, Mark. And I hope that, each day brings a little bit more comfort. I mean, I don't want to be like insensitive about this, but maybe it's time to get another dog. I don't know. Maybe it'll help. I know when our first cat, or the cat that we had before the cats that we have now, when he passed away, it was like so empty in the house. And then we couldn't stand it. We really couldn't stand it that we got the cats that we have now like a week later. So it just kind of helped like take our minds off of it and move forward. But anyway, in your own time, Mark, and hopefully we can just walk with you in this journey as you go along. Mark's Music Obsession says, Shant, Springball, what is this? You would know, Mark. You would know. Mark has been a huge supporter of Shant and Springball. And I think you have like 1,000 head sketch coming from Shant. You single-handedly are supporting Shant's head sketch business. So yeah, I think you know a little bit about the old Springball. Which I know most of you have, but let's look at it really quick. Let's just jump around. I want to show, I love that Shant's campaign's going on here right now. And where is that button? Preview mode. Is that right? Yeah. Check it out. So, yeah, Shant's got 17,245 raised so far, 293 backers. Amazing. Still got 13 days left in the campaign. So make sure you support and fund it. He's got a whole bunch of different goals. You can check that out. I back and I believe Mark did also, back the head sketch goal, the head sketch tier in that one, where Shant will, not only do you get a copy of Springball, which is amazing and will be amazing, but you also get a original head sketch drawn by Shant. So I'm going to be expecting him to do an amazing head sketch. Like, I'm not going to let him go. I'm not going to be just one of those normal customers. I'm going to give him a hard time. So join me in that. Comrade Sammy says, Mark, well, at least we can be the digital guest taking up space in your house for the time. That's right. Taking up space, making a lot of noise, being those uninvited guests. Mark says, that's true. Comrade Sammy, the streams really helped distract me for a while. I appreciate them and you guys. No problem, Mark. That's what we're here for. How many hours do we think Rocky will be today, since he has a lot of comics? I'm going to talk faster. I'm not going to make you stay around longer. I'm just going to talk faster. That'll work, right? Everybody put me at like 1.5x speed. We're going to talk faster. We do have a lot of comics. I have a book to unbox, which came out of nowhere. I think it's just one book. I have 1, 2, 3, like usual books, I should say, like books that I have been collecting and that will look familiar to you guys. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 new books that I haven't picked up before, and then 1 random book totally random pickup, but it looks kind of crazy and kind of fun, and it'll be fun to look through it with you guys. So that's a lot. That's a lot of books. Usually I have like 4-ish books to go through, and I got like 1,000. No problem. Just imagine a fairly overweight guy. Wait, I should read this before I read it out loud. Just imagine a fairly overweight guy dressed slubbishly sitting with you and Rocky and Sam in your house with you. I'm supposed to be doing my taxes, but I'm eating goldfish. Taxes. Ugh. Yeah. Taxes are not fun. Not fun at all. Hopefully you guys all filed your taxes, and you won't have bad news coming your way, but that's never fun. 4 hours? 6 maybe? Who knows? No, I'm gonna just talk fast. I can't go super later than I normally do. I wouldn't put you guys through that, but it is a lot. Mark's Music Obsession says, I paid my taxes a couple weeks ago. Painful, but you got it done. It's over with. You might want to visit a comic shop, Mark. Helps me out. Either way, you get comics. That's true. That's my methodology, at least. And it makes me talk to people as well. 3.5 hours, cranberry. All right, we'll hold you. Let's see it. We're 16 minutes in, cranberry hours. 3.5 hours. Let's see. Let's see if we get around there. Rocky is on a diet and not shooting the fat as long tonight. Disavow.
He goes, what's your name? He goes,
how's it going, John? Good to see you. I wish I need to be on a diet. So one of the things that happened last week, this is so embarrassing, guys, but it's okay. I only have 514 subscribers. Nothing to be ashamed of here. I was sitting in my chair, this very chair, and my cat, as he usually does, one of my cats came at my feet and like, meow, 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 wanted me to pick him up. And I leaned over to pick him up. And I don't know, it was like the position, the angle, worst possible thing I know. There was no way that I could lift with my feet. And he's quite a heavy cat. And I tweaked my back. I pulled something to the point where I like dropped to my knees. It was so painful. Really bad. Yeah, one of my good friends said, "Oh my gosh, you got a sciatica. You like slipped a disc." And I was like, I don't know, because I'm fine now. I can walk around and it's still a little sore, but he was like, "You got a sciatica." And I'm like, I don't think I could be walking around as much, but maybe I can. And if I did do some sort of major damage like that because of my cat, I will be very, very disappointed with me. It's so depressing. It's like just a reminder of getting old. So yeah, I think maybe I do need to go on some sort of diet to offset picking up my cat, or now I never pick him up from that position. I'm very careful not to pick him up from that position, but yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. Tickles my fancy is not awkward at all. Don't overthink it. Yeah, everybody's saying hello to John. Coffin to his coffin, that's right. Don't get notifications either. I just always happen to be watching YouTube when you pop up. Yeah, that works too. Who needs notifications when you've got it on 24/7? That's my secret to being first. There you go. Ardent Times of J. Ryan. What's up, Ardent Times of J. Ryan?
It's actually a really good sculpt.
How are you doing? Did you get out recently? Cold snap here past couple days. Wow. It's actually really beautiful here. Temperature is to here like cold snap, and we're like as usual, beautiful, perfect mid-60s here. So sorry to hear that, John, but you know, seasons. Everybody's saying hello. Sorry. So insensitive. I know I am. I'm a harsh dude. Yeah, Mark, I'll try to entertain you and annoy you, whatever helps best. Yeah, Shanth does. Shanth's going to be busy for the next few months working on those. Ardent Times of J. Ryan says, when my cat passed, I couldn't bear to get another one. Nothing was going to replace it. Yeah, it's true. It really is. Like, I still get like choked up when I think of my first cat. And when I see pictures of him and all that, like there's nothing, even we have 2 cats now, they never will replace him. But there's something about that life, and especially if you get them as kittens or, you know, puppies or whatever, that just like sparks you a little bit out of the sadness of there not being a dog there anymore or a cat there anymore. At least with pets. I know you can't do that with people necessarily, but we just couldn't do it. It was just so sad. that even though it was just a week, it was a really, really sad week for us. And I think also because my kids were young when that happened and they were really bummed out. They were really like uncontrollably sad. So it's tough. Loss of pets, loss of family members. It's tough. It's a big hole. Can never fill that hole. So then we distract. So to take our minds off of things. What's up, Shelby? Oh my goodness. How are you doing, Shelby? Long time no see. Get them ducks. Yes, made it over 17K. That's right. Shant's killing it, doing really well with that campaign. And I am more than just the money he's raising and, you know, the excitement over it. I'm just excited for you guys to see it. And I'm excited to see this new form of Spring Ball. You know, like Shant has explained before, he's kind of redoing the whole thing and updating it. So it's going to be really cool to see where it came from and kind of where it is now, just based on everything he's already learned and just the experience he has like producing Nosferos. So it's going to be so good, so exciting. It brings back a lot of memories for me, just when I first met Shant and like our dreams and aspirations of being comic book artists or just like being working artists, independent artists. Just seeing it all come together for him right now is just super rewarding. So I love it. I love my brother, and he's just a good guy. And I can't wait to see what else happens from this. Like, what is this going to lead to for him next? Rocky is abnormal. Got it. Yep, I am. Very much so. I have I do really high expectations for him because, you know, everything else that he's done for me has just fallen flat. So I just got high expectations for this thing. I'm just kidding. He's my guy. Jay, my Maggie was like a child to me. It's a setup for heartbreak from the jump. I will not have another. She isn't replaceable. Absolutely not. And we loved Maggie. Just seeing her and you talking about her, the pictures you sent. She's a cutie. The videos you've posted on your channel. Go subscribe to Mark's Music Obsession. He's got a couple videos up there of Maggie on his boat and all that. And she was a darling, little cutie patootie. Emo Trash popping in momentarily like a train wreck. If you can classify that as momentarily emo trash. Do you have classes? Aren't you out of class already by now? We'll see if Senpai notices me before I disappear. Okay. I see you. I'm a bit overstimulated with how many people want my attention right now. We could ignore you. I do notice you. Taxes are fun for the government, Rocky, I guess. Jay Ryan filed his taxes a month ago. Well, all right then. Good for you. Actually, I have like a form, a financial form that doesn't come. It always comes after the deadline of taxes. So I'm forced to file an extension on my taxes, which buys me more time. But I also try and get them done, like all the information I need to get done before tax day, because I hate that just hanging over your head. So good for you, Jay Ryan, filing your taxes early. Cranberlander says, I didn't get my tax stuff until either yesterday or today from my old company. Yeah, sometimes it happens like that. Like you get late notices or late forms or whatever. Taxes are fun for the bureaucrats that the libs like to cry about. I don't think anybody's thinking about taxes at the moment as far as our government's concerned. Got this. Fatty grunt. Ouch, I've strained my back like 3 times. It's not good. Time to take up stretching, Rocky. Yeah. I don't know. It's like you take for granted your back. I mean, my dad, as long as I can remember, even when I was like, I don't know, a teenager, my dad would be always like, lift with your legs, lift with your legs. And I was like, whatever, I could lift whatever I needed to, you know, or if I'd go to the gym and lift weights, I'm like, well, I could do this. This is the first time that my back did something like this, other than like normal back, you know, pain, just sitting at your chair or your desk all day. This is the first time my back just like totally freaked out on me. So it's a little bit of a wake up call about getting older, stretching. Yeah. Not picking up fat cats, bending over at your waist and picking them up just with your back. Just with your lower back. Not a good idea. It's really, it's kind of depressing. It really is. It's kind of like this. Comrade Samus says, you need to get in shape. We need to get you in shape, Rocky. Drop and give me 50 on your knuckles. I could. I might. I could do that for you guys. You need a body massage to fix your back.
What?
I'm a computer.
So Alan Lau knows. I actually text him. This was actually a couple days before I did that thing to my back. I'm not going to say pulled my back. It was something. Tweaked it out. It was bad. But a couple days ahead of time, I actually texted Alan Lau. I was like, hey, do you know a good masseuse? Because I've been looking for a while. Ever since COVID, it's like, you know, massages went out the window as far as being able to find a place. The place that I used to go to, they shut down. So I actually literally texted Alan Lau and asked him, and he gave me a recommendation. So I should have taken it and done that maybe before I picked up my cat. Unfortunate timing. Everybody's saying hello to Alan. I'm good, Rocky. Staying out of trouble. Hope all is well with you. Everything's going good. Heart and Times of Jay Ryan. Great to hear. Instead of sniffling, he's all coughs this stream. I'm a harsh dude in the softest, smoothest voice you could imagine. Is that me? That's right. Darn right. Sorry, John, I missed that comment. Yeah, we've had cold mornings last couple days, but I haven't been out and about, not on the boat, as it's been windy. Bummer. Replacement is not the objective, John says, but sharing the love you have to give. Yes, for sure. I still think of our cats. They're like family members. I wish I could see them again. It's nothing like it. Yeah, my previous cat, Alan Lau was witness to this. He was around when that happened. I recorded my cat. It was the night before he passed away, and I recorded him. He was in pain, and he hadn't been purring for a while. And for some reason, we knew he was going to pass away the next day. And for some reason, that night, he sat in his little bed that was in my office, and he started purring. And I recorded it, and I still have it on my phone. And on occasion, I'll watch it every now and then, and it'll get me choked up. It's really, really sad. So, yeah, I'm just bumming. I'm just bumming myself out now. John's asking, Mark, didn't you want to take some road trips? Excuse me. My goodness. NOLA, etc. That'd be fun. A road trip. I don't know if your job allows you to do that, Mark. It's always good to kind of get out of the normal routine. Get out of the everyday. Like pull yourself out of your environment. That might help. Planning a trip out of the country again in a couple months. Oh, cool. Might go out of state to my sister's for Easter. Nice. That sounds good. John's saying you should go and visit Katie in the UK. Yeah. I haven't seen much of her. Mark's music. Yeah, I haven't either. Katie's been in and out. I know she was taking a break from social media or just YouTube in general for a while. But then she comes in every now and then. Maybe we'll see her today. Emo Trash doesn't have class till 7. Okay, you got a little bit of time. Hopefully we'll get into comics by the time. I don't know. We've only got an hour and I'm still talking. We haven't even looked at comics yet. I've only just gotten through all the midterm projects as of today because I cannot be bothered to continue to English. All right. Stand-up desk. I've tried stand-up desks before, and my particular desk that I'm on, it's actually if you can imagine, it's like two desks, and then there's like a middle partition or like a mini extension, like an island kind of that connects the two desks, like a T, like a large T. And there's no stand-up desk that could make this thing move up and down. So if I had to get a stand-up desk, I'd have to reconfigure my whole room. And I've tried stand-up desks before, and I've never felt comfortable using them. I think it's better like when you're just typing all the time. But for like drawing standing up, I don't know. Some people have used it before, but it's never been comfortable for me. So I've never invested in a stand-up desk. This is going to go from a comic stream to a stream. That would be amazing. That would be amazing if this turned into a workout stream. That would probably be healthier for us all. It'd be cheaper, healthier. We'd feel better. We'd look better. We're going to have to take that into consideration, Comrade Sammy. Emo only has several 30-minute breaks from a day filled almost exclusively classes and bird times. Yes, she does. Jeffrey Beats. What's up, Beats?
10% Bogan, 50% Bogan, 100% Bogan.
Haven't seen you in a while, Bogan. Good to see you. How's Australia doing? Val Kunstgeist is here. What's up, Val Kunstgeist? Good to see you again. Hopefully am I pronouncing that right? Kunstgeist. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Emo Trash says, my classes only take up like maybe 6 hours total of the week. All right. That's not that much, but they all happen to fall on Wednesday? Is that how it always goes? Everything else is just assignments. Has the quality of society progressed with the advancement of technology and knowledge? That's a loaded question there. I don't know. You tell me. Rocky, now might be a good time to pop in one of those cough drops of yours. All right. I only have 2, so I gotta sparingly use them. But I just took cough medicine. I don't want to annoy you guys by coughing into the mic all the time. So I'll take your recommendation. Noted. Animals, and some people know I see it as a grace to the animals, a bright point before the bad times coming. Speak of the devil. What's up, Katie?
Say cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
No, a cup of tea.
It's so good to see you, Katie. We were just talking about you, just talking about traveling to the UK to go see you as you traveled to Florida to see Mark. How are you doing, Katie? I hope you're doing well. Can't recommend NOLA enough. The French Quarter is inspiring. I used to live in Louisiana, Baton Rouge specifically, and then we'd travel, it was less than, probably about an hour away, was New Orleans. And going to the French Quarter. I haven't been there in forever. Have a close family of ours that they're from Louisiana, born and raised in Louisiana, big LSU fans. I've not been there in a long while. I miss those beignets. That would be awesome to go back and visit. Katie is here. That's right. Her ears were itching. She heard the call for comics in the UK. She knew we were talking about her cup of tea, hashtag cup of tea. That's right. So good to see you, Katie. Great to see everyone again. Good to see you, Val Kunstgeist. I'm on holidays and the internet is not great, Jeffrey Beat says. Well, that's a bummer. Maybe that's a good thing. Being on holidays with not good internet, that's probably a good thing. Take a break from it. Sometimes we need to take a break. Reconfigure your whole room or reconfigure your whole back. Rocky Walk and Talk streams just for health of it. I mean, that was the purpose of the zoo stream, was to like get some exercise, get some drawing, and get outside. So it was good. Okay. Australia's great. On holiday by the beach. Ooh. Screw the internet, Jeffrey Beats. You're on the beach in Australia? Get out of town, man. It's awesome. Yes, you got the pronunciation right this time. Val K is fine too, for sure. Okay, got it. Val K sounds good. No, that sounds like a fully positive. If you're on the beach and you have very little internet, full positive. Rocky chokes on the cough drop. Reciprocal travel visits. That's right. Okay, here's Emo Trash's schedule. Thank you. We'll have to bookmark this and remember. We'll work around it. Thursday night is also Zoom. All right. Ninja doesn't want the blame for causing Rocky's death, Comrade Sammy says. That would be horrible. I've heard stories of people being live on stream, like on Facebook Live. I've always heard about it on Facebook Live. And horrible things happen, like they die or somebody breaks into their house or yeah. I don't want that to happen. So let's not manifest that into happening. Most of Australia lives near the ocean, like 80%. I'm on the Gold Coast beach holiday. That sounds awesome. I want to go to Australia one day. I have a cousin that lives there, cousin-in-law, and I think it would be amazing to go visit there. Got to do that. Thanks, John. I'm off to bed now. Have a great stream. Thanks, Katie. Thank you for coming in and saying hello. It's so good to see you again. Good night, Katie. All right. Oh, so the story that what happened was I knew which books. So usually Tuesdays I will watch a bunch of different streams and videos and commentators on what the new books are coming out on Wednesday, just to get in my mind of like, oh yeah, I wanted to pick up that book, and I'll like write down a list. So I wrote down a list, and there are certain books that I have on my pull box at one of the comic book stores. And I knew I was getting 2 out of the, I think 5 or 6 books I had listed out that were coming out. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm definitely I got to go to that store, because when they pull the books, you got to buy them. Like you can't just pull them and say, nah, I'm not going to get it. So that drives me to go to that one store. But that store also, they don't necessarily carry like variant covers or like sometimes like obscure books or low volume books that aren't super popular. Sometimes they don't have it there. So I'll go to other stores as well. Or if I just want to go and hang out and talk to the other comic book store owners, I'll do it. Like I'll swap out and go to that store. But in this particular case, I knew I had to go pick up some of the books that were going to be pulled. But then I also knew I had a batch of books that weren't on my list that I could pick up at another store. So I was like, all right, let me split it like 50-50, just so that I can support one store, the store that I have my box at, and then support another store, because I just like to kind of spread around the love of my support for the local stores. So I did that. I only picked up a couple books at this first store, Comics Experience, and then decided to go to Amazing Fantasy, Frank's shop. And Frank watches my stream quite often. So shout out to Frank and Amazing Fantasy on Irving Street. Like he's awesome. He's great. And such a good dude. So I love going to Frank's shop, and he always carries like cool variant covers and a lot of other stuff there. So I kind of strategically didn't pick up certain books that I was like, well, Frank will have those books and he might have the variant covers for this book. So I'll go to Frank's shop and pick up these other books. So I got like 2 or 3 books in the first store, went to Frank's shop, and lo and behold, he didn't have one of the books I was looking for. So I was like, dang it. Do I need to go back to that first shop to get that book? So I had this like this is the biggest decisions in my day. So I was like, should I go back to the first shop? They're not that close to each other. I mean, they're relatively close, but they're not super near. It's not like 5 minutes drive. It's like more like a 15 to 20 minute drive from each other. So I'm like, should I go back to the first shop? Is it worth it? And I'm like, well, you know what? On the way home is another comic book store that I can kind of take a detour. So I could go to a third store and get that one book I was looking for. So I was like, all right, I'll do that. I'll visit 3 stores today. So I went, finished at the second store, went to the third store, and lo and behold, that store did not have the one book I was looking for that was left on my list. And I was like, geez. And what I had heard was like Diamond, and you'll hear this in comic book news sites and stuff. Like Diamond Distributors, they've just been in a huge mess recently, bankrupt, and now I think they're getting bought, whatever. But their shipments have been notoriously late for at least half a year to a year. So you're always like unsure if what Diamond carries is going to make it to your store. And it's just a crapshoot. It's not even like blanket in San Francisco, all of the Diamond distribution is late. It's like sometimes some stores get it, sometimes some stores don't. It's a mess. So what I had heard was this one book, which I saw in my first store and decided not to get it there, didn't make it to Frank's store because of Diamond. And then the third store didn't have it. And I assumed it was because of Diamond. Anyway, so there I was stuck in the third store, and I felt bad that I was there. The third store was Invisible Jet. I felt bad that I was there, that I wasn't picking up anything because I had already picked up the other books that I wanted. So I just started digging and looking around. I was like, well, I could pick up this one book. I wasn't going to get it, but I do want to support this store. Again, biggest decisions in my day. So I ended up picking up a couple books that I wasn't 100% on, but I was like, well, I'll try it out. When I saw another book, I was like, oh, yeah, cool. I do want to actually read this book. And we'll go through all these in a second. And then finally, I was there paying at the cashier, talking to Chris. Great discussion with her. That's why I like visiting her store, because I always have really good conversations with her. And she was like searching through some stuff, and then she put on the table the one book that I was looking for. And I was like, wait, you got that book? And she was like, yeah, I was just about to put it on the rack. And I was like, okay, I'll buy it. So I got all the books that I wanted to get. And it took 3 stores and a lot of rigmarole and buying some other books that I wasn't 100% sold on. But that's how it goes. That took up a good portion of my morning and gave me a little bit of story to tell you guys. So yeah, Mark, what you got to do is do that. Like, come up with a list of books and then jump to different locations all over Florida to try and buy them. And then your day will be full. That was a long, drawn-out story. Let's see. Just find times on Rocky streams. Oh, okay, let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Only supplied my schedule because you asked. That's going to be my schedule till probably the first week or 2 of May. All right, cool. We got it. Past 2 weeks have been hell because I've had 2 essays a project. It's that time. Midterm finals time. Get ready. Book Oscura sounds fancy. Comrade Samuel says, I walk to the pantry for snacks. Does that count? Hey, steps are steps. We don't judge the steps. Amazing Fantasy Comics. That's right. Alan Lau knows. He knows Frank. All right. Let me get to the comics. I'll take it, I guess. Still miffed about the project, though. Could have been so much better if the professor didn't flip the script on me a week before it was due. Yeah, that kind of stuff happens. Oh my gosh, emo trash. This sounds very complicated. Between all that, I've been stress painting. And I don't hate the result. I started sketching on some stuff, some new stuff. Nothing to do with anything I've talked about before on stream, just sketching kind of for my own creation story kind of that I'm working on. And man, it came out horrible. Boy, was it bad. Because I haven't sketched like that in a while. Ugh, it was bad. Really bad. I'm the kind of guy, too, with my sketchbooks. This is really bad. Like, I kind of want my sketchbooks to look good. So when I have a bad page, I'm like, that's really discouraging, which goes against the whole purpose of sketchbooks, just to get the ideas out there. I'm like a little bit too much of a perfectionist. And so even when I have a bad day sketching, I'm like, oh, gosh, forget it. Congrats on the book. It worked out. If you had left prior to looking through those other books at the third ship, you probably would have missed the book again. Yeah, maybe. And I would have missed the good conversation I had with Chris, to be honest. Like, it was great. We were just talking about movies. We were talking about books. We were talking about comics. We were talking about artists. So that's always fun. It's fun to be able to, just shoot the fat with other people when it comes to comics and things we're interested in. And, there were certain movies and stuff that she was talking about. I was like, I'm not really into it. But then there's other things that we were totally on the same page. So it's fun. It's just fun to that's kind of what this is all about too with comics. It's just like, hey, this is what I'm excited about. Maybe you might be excited about, maybe not, but here you go. All right, I've already shot the fat. Too much. 45 minutes of shooting the fat. No, sir. You're the one that opened this can of worms. I did. Try art fixes, Rocky. People love those. Okay. Okay. I'm going to stop shooting the fat. We're done. Done with shooting the fat. Get out of here. And we are going to start with comics. Not keyboards. Comics, not keyboards. So this first one is an unboxing. I love it when I get this kind of mailer in the mail, don't you? This is like the standard comic book mailer. I think I know what this is. But always fun to see this come in the mail. Because then I'm like, ooh. The standard Gemini mailer. Let me make sure. Right, Gemini mailer. Ah, yes, this is what I thought it was. All right, this is cool. So, you guys may or may not remember from previous streams, there was this whole run of specific Marvel comics during, wrong one, of Marvel comics that came out where they did these, they called them rough cut editions. So funny. I'm so judgy. Whenever I get comics in the mail, specifically like from eBay or whatever, I always judge them based on the... This is just me. Judge them based on the bag and board that they send. I'm like, oh, it's not a great bag or board. See, it's kind of like warpy and I don't like it. So I'll probably rebag and board it myself. You guys do not know the levels of OCD that I live in. So anyway, this is another rough cut that I was looking at. Alan Davis rough cut for this Fantastic Four series that he worked on. So just as a reminder, the rough cut is they printed rough cuts for a bunch of number ones. There was like a Thor one that I have, a Captain America, Avengers. There's this one. There's one of the character, I believe is Sentry. That's an issue that I have. And then there was another one that was done by Will Portacio. I can't remember what that book was, but I haven't picked up that one yet. I'm still on the hunt for that one. But this one was Alan Davis, who is a phenomenal artist. I believe if Shelby is still in the stream or still watching, I believe Alan Davis is one of his favorites. But Alan Davis is a great artist, and I was exposed to his work on X-Men and Excalibur when he took over. Well, he was the main artist on Excalibur, but just a great, like, overall solid artist. And he also did this book that I'm reading, the Nail, DC The Nail. This book here. But Alan Davis is one of those artists that has just like infinite appeal in his drawings. And like his female figures are amazing. His male figures are amazing. He can draw action. He can draw really emotional scenes. He's awesome. So to see his pencils is a treat. I don't think I've seen many behind the scenes Alan Davis stuff, and maybe I haven't looked closely, but for sure not seeing his pencil work that often. It hasn't been that available that often. So when I found out that they had this for Fantastic Four, I was like, okay, I gotta find that. Like, look at that. Look at the level of drawing on that. That's beautiful. Yeah, it just has so much like just appeal in his faces. I loved his run on Excalibur. And I was such a huge fan of X-Men and what was going on in Uncanny X-Men at the time with Mark Silvestri and Jim Lee and all that. But for Alan Davis to like take Excalibur and kind of run with it, like he injected his own like flavor to it, and so good. So good. It was different, but it was so excellent at the same time. I don't know if Alan Davis has ever done any... I mean, that book, The Nail, he wrote it too. But I don't know if he's done any like creator-owned stuff necessarily. I don't even know what he's working on now. This came out in... What's the date on this? Well, a lot of script stuff here. They didn't put the date on this. Oh, here. This came out in 2007. So, you know, that was like 18 years ago. So, yeah, I have no idea what Davis is working on right now. I'm seeing Will Spartaccio this weekend. What? Like at a con? Or just like hanging out with him? Please explain, Jeffrey Beats. That's amazing. Wills is awesome. He's one of my my childhood heroes as a comic book artist. Love Will Spartaccio stuff. Will Spartaccio's in Australia at the moment doing conferences. Oh, cool. That's awesome. Archetypes J. Ryan says Excalibur is where I fell in love with Alan Davis personally. Well, why didn't you marry him? Yeah, he did The Nail. Yes. Yeah, no. Yeah, he really just took that and like took it in a different direction than what the other X books were going, but it was so good. And I've talked about this before, like the artists before that, I feel like it's just a very homogenized, most of the art that most of the modern current artists right now, that there's less, I'd say, distinct artists that kind of stand out. There's like really good artists, but they all kind of blend into each other for me. But for Alan Davis to come alongside at the same time with like superstars like Silvestri and Jim Lee, and then just to do what he does and just like confidently do what he does. I remember every time he would do like a fill-in issue or like an annual, I'd be like, wow, this guy's so good. But it was very different from what the other artists were doing. These pencils are incredibly tight. And Alan Davis has a beautiful organic quality to his stuff. It's not like hard-edged or like spiky graphic, like lots of hatching. It's like really beautifully rendered. You can see it in his pencils, and then the inkers that they usually pair him up with, like Paul Neary, Mark Farmer was his inker on The Nail. They just have a beautiful, beautiful, like organic quality to their inks too. A lot of these guys are brush inkers. And so you can just see like how it works so well with Alan Davis's style. Cranberry Langer says, I hate his faces. What? Cranberry? Why? What do you hate about his faces? They're like so awesome. They're so like well balanced and like Oh, man. Sorry, I was just I wasn't actually paying attention that much, so I'm just going to flip through it one more time. I would love to see this at size. Because this is still just regular comic book size, but I would love to see it like at an artist edition size. I don't know if there has been any Alan Davis artist editions, and I don't know why. Like, they should do one for Excalibur, or they should do one for something that he worked on. Really good. And yeah, he was one of those artists that he would just draw no matter what character he drew. Here it's like Marvel, but like in The Nail, he was drawing like all the DC characters. And each one just felt like an Alan Davis drawing. Like, it was like, put through the Alan Davis lens, but they're all super appealing. How could you not like their faces, Cranberry? His faces look better to me now. Okay. You love his faces. Yep, that figures. Alan Davis is really good at showing emotion, actually having the characters act. Yes, for sure. And yet they don't look like super, like, I would say the Ghost Machine guys, and I'm thinking of like Gary Frank and Brian Hitch. They had to have been influenced by Alan Davis. And yet their stuff looks a little bit, more so Brian Hitch with Redcoat. Looks a little bit more like realistic, like you can see he's referencing himself. Alan Davis has enough style and real, like he is one of those artists, and I've mentioned this before, those artists that can run that line of like stylized and believable or realistic. There's a fine line in there, and I feel like Alan Davis, like just rides that line perfectly with his style. Like it feels really real, like believable that these characters are there. He knows lighting, he knows anatomy, but they also have this like Alan Davis look to them. I feel like Alan Davis must have been influenced by John Byrne, or maybe vice versa in that too, but his stuff is just more solid. I mean, I love John Byrne stuff, but really cool. And then this is just like the script or the plot. They just add that for filler here at the end. Man, I would really love to see Alan Davis's work, like artist edition size though, because the amount of detail and just drawing ability that he puts into this is incredible. Anyway, that's the first guy, the first installment, the Fantastic Four, The End, Special Edition Issue 1, a rough cut. So if you like seeing pencil stuff, and I know different companies do this, Top Cow did like a black and white thing for some of their books, like Darkness and Witchblade and a few others. Companies will do this from time to time of like black and white or artist edition or noir edition or whatever, and I'm always into that. So this rough cut happened over the course of maybe 5 or 6 books, and I have now 4 of them. So yeah, hopefully I can finish up that series because it's cool. I love it. It's always good to see. Of course we disagree. Yes, Will Spartaccio is at Supernova Gold Coast. All right, cool. I have a bunch of comics for him to sign. That's nice. And what is his do you know what his policy is for signing? I know some artists have like, oh, you can sign as many things as you want. Some artists are like, well, the first 5 are free, and then after that I charge money. Or so I wonder what Portacio's limit is. And I know he was also on Instagram, he was selling some sort of sketchbook recently. I didn't pick it up myself, but I know he was putting out some sort of sketchbook. So yeah, more of Portacio's work to see out there is amazing. The emotion, sure. I hate the physical look, the musculature, how he does renditions of their faces. Really? Maybe 10 ultra rare ones Jeffrey Beats has. Uncanny X-Ray. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome to get Wills to sign it. Wills is a great signature too with the big W. That's awesome. Cherish Psalms. What's up, Cherish Psalms?
What's wrong, little Pookie?
Rocky and Star Sand streaming at the same time. You know what? That's fine with me. I have no idea who Star Sand is, but I don't know if that person is streaming about comics as well. But that's cool. That's cool. Double stream it, Cherish Psalms. You know what I saw recently, Cherish Psalms? You'd appreciate this or laugh at it maybe. Is I think that they just came out with like a Skibbity toilet. Skibbity toilet, is that the right thing? Like a figure or a video, or not a video game, like a game that you could play that has like a physical Skibbity toilet in it. That's crazy. Made me think of you. I like his bodies, Cranberry Landers says. All right. Distinction requires thoughtfulness and creativity. There you go. Yeah, and then sometimes it's just like the time and the era that artists emerge in, you know, like whether it hits with what people are looking for, or does it just blend in with a bunch of other artists that are out there, or does it go against the grain and stand out that way? It really depends. You know, it's like if Alan Davis or, you know, any of those artists, like they came out now at this time period, as opposed to 30 years ago or 40 years ago when they came out, would they be as popular? I don't know. There really is kind of a snapshot of what is in at that time. Everybody's saying hello to Cherish Psalms. I was over there till about that point. That's when I personally ran out of things to yap, so I came over to Bug Rocky instead on Star Sand. All right, yeah, that was good. They look the same and very Eastern European. Wow, that's really specific. What do you have against the Eastern Europeans? Derailer in Chief was MIA, now we're complete until class. It's okay, you can always find new things to yap about when she... At least I know that it's not just me that brings out the yappers in all of you. They're all alike, willowy and bony. All look like they're from the Romance eras of Europe. Mediterranean is better. He has better distinguishing between face types now, to me. He has better distinguishing between face types now, to me. Yeah, he has a look. Alan Davis, I feel like he just has like a classic musculature, classic anatomy, both male and female. It's never like overly exaggerated or overly realistic too. Just like classic, just like, I don't know. It's good stuff. Personal preference. That's right. That's right. I like the cheekbones and jawline of the characters, especially the males. Yeah, he does have that cheekbone. That's why I wonder if he's influenced by John Byrne, or maybe they were looking at each other, or, you know, vice versa, because there is that like distinct cheekbone in all his stuff, in his characters. Cranberry Larry's... Why do you even watch my channel, Cranberry Landers? Like all the things I suggest, you don't like. Come on, how can you not like John Byrne? He's drawing some of the best X-Men out there. My gosh. Right? My gosh. That's why we can't have good things, Cranberry. You don't like anything. I don't like Byrne's faces. This is our pineapple on pizza issue, Rocky. Do you like pineapple on pizza? Do I even bring that up? Geiger. Yes. Emo. Wow, you didn't derail us. You brought us back. Geiger. It's been so long. Has it? I feel like these are coming out of a regular clip. Between this book and like Transformers, they're coming out at a regular clip. So Geiger's still good. I'm at this point with Geiger, even though it's consistently good, I'm at this point where I'm like, am I just going to keep collecting this in perpetuity, or am I going to start like saving my money just to get the trades, because now they're coming out with the trades. Ghost Machine has been releasing trades for like the first 6 to 10 issues of all the books that they've come out with. So they're kind of hitting this rhythm of like they've been regular, and now they're going to do trade compilations, and then they're going to go, do another run and then another trade. So I'm like, because it gets expensive. Like, you're paying $4 every time one of these books comes out. And I think that's affordable when somebody's not on a regular schedule. You can be like, oh yeah, I can pay $4, and then they'll probably only last 4 issues. But these guys are so regular. I'm like, wow, can I keep affording to do this? So we'll see. Every time I think like, okay, now the story's stopped and I can like cut it clean here, something catches my attention and keeps me going. So they're doing something right. But Geiger, this is issue 13. Can you believe it? We're already at 13 issues here, and super solid. As always, they've introduced this female character, the glowing woman, because Geiger's like the glowing man, known as the glowing man. But she's been a great addition to it. Not only just the female side, but also like she can control her radioactiveness better than Geiger can. So she's trying to help him out to figure out how to do that. But as we learned from the last issue, or the ending of the last issue, there's some sort of twist there that she has ulterior motives. Dun, dun, dun. So I think we're just, as these issues go on, we're just learning more. Here we go. We're learning more about her and her backstory. And this is the dude that supposedly taught her how to control her power. I think he's Dr. Molotov, I think is his name. So she's, at the end of the last issue, found that she actually has him as a captive. And I believe Geiger, if I remember correctly, Geiger believes that he's dead. So she's keeping that information from him. The cool thing, too, is they also are introducing Junkyard Joe here. He's another book from the Ghost Machine crew. So they're starting to do these like crossovers for some of their main character storylines, which is great. It's really great. I think crossovers are always fun, but if you don't do them right and you just kind of crossover for the sake of crossovering, it definitely comes across as gimmicky. But I don't feel like Ghost Machine is doing that at all. It's kind of, they're like making this natural, like you feel like they've thought these storylines out and aren't just trying to come up with like, I mean, I've seen this done a million times where it's like, oh, we should do a crossover book. So let's come up with some crazy time traveling villain to like make their timelines cross, or like, let's make Marvel and DC cross. So we have to have some sort of like cosmic villain to do it. And some of those are fun, but I love it when the crossover has actually been thought out since before the books even came out. So, so it just feels natural when they cross over. And that's kind of how it is with, at least that's how it feels to me for Geiger and Junkyard Joe. That's great. Great splash. The crazy thing is that I see like some of these, I've seen it with Gary Frank, who's the artist on Geiger, and Brian Hitch, who's the artist on Redcoat. I've seen them also doing mainstream books at the same time they're doing these Ghost Machines books. So I don't know how these guys do it, like consistently working on multiple things at this level, like this quality level. It's really, really hard just to get one book out regularly, let alone multiple books. Cool. Next, the glowing man versus the glowing woman. See, like I gotta buy that issue. I can't not get that issue. Maybe that's the end of this next run. But I can't not get that issue. The Clash of the Glowing People. That's really cool. Good, cool. Geiger 13. Yep, looking forward to this one. Redcoat's another one. All these books, I'm like, okay, can I keep up with this regularly? Or should I just wait for the trades? I have not dropped them yet. So, we'll see. Geiger, number 13. Same art team, same creative team. Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, Brad Anderson, Rob Lee. Great. Great stuff. Are you aware of this Geiger fellow? I think $5 per issue. I know, it's crazy. It's really expensive. Who knows if it's going to even stay that much or if it's going to go up as prices of stuff start going on. Yeah, Skibbity. It was bad. Star Sand draws and yaps. All right. So Star Sand is a friend of Gothic's, and she does guest appearances on her show at times. Oh, okay, cool. Maybe I should check out her channel. Seems like Cranberry also watches Star Sand, apparently. I don't like Skibbity like that. You're the one who introduced me to Skibbity, Cherish Psalm, so I don't know what to tell you. I would have never been aware of anything Skibbity, toilet, or whatever if it weren't for you. Did Gothic say she was going to stick to her imposed schedule and stream tomorrow too? I don't know. Cranberry is a silent ninja. Cranberry doesn't compare to the chat ninja. No, I don't. I've just talked briefly a couple times. Usually I see her on Gothic's streams. Wow, you guys are awesome. I just freaked myself out. Tonight's class is at 7. Oh boy. All right, see ya, emo trash. Didn't you just post the schedule for us? Oh boy. Is the class usually at 7? I saw the time and was thinking my Thursday class, that's at 6:30. Oh, that would be scary. But yeah, you got to go to class now. So Cranberry says, I like lots of what you like. I don't know, dude. Cran's opinions make me lose what little faith I still have in humanity. It's true. I like pineapple on pizza and sandwich salami. All right. Well, I'm not a big fan of salami. Or does bologna count for, where's your feeling on bologna versus salami? I just had this conversation with another friend. I like pineapple and pizza too. I have no problem with pineapple and pizza. One of my favorite pizzas from Round Table is the Maui Zowie, which is like this tricked out version of a pineapple pizza. But I know there's a huge reaction from people about pineapple and pizza. I mean, I get it, the salty sweet thing, but still, it's not that bad. I'm sorry, bumped the camera. I've only had one class that ended late. It was kind of magically at night because it felt good outside. It's been a while since I've seen a Geiger book come across your desk. Really, has it? I've pretty much picked up all the Geiger books. So maybe you came in late. I don't know. Go back and watch the other streams. Help me get my watch hours up by watching the other streams with Geiger in it. I have different tastes. No, it's fine, Cranberry. It's fine. $4 on the regular will send you over the edge, Rocky. No, but if I have multiple books that are $4, it adds up really fast. And I didn't feel it as much. I mean, I don't usually feel it as much because I don't buy that many books. But today, because I was at 3 different stores and I bought so many books, I was like, ooh, wow, that's a lot. Great cover, Val Kunskei says, of Geiger or The Moon is Following Us. Perhaps when we get super chats, it will help offset the thing some. That would be amazing, John. If super chats, if whatever, if I ever get to that point of getting super chats, and that could help me afford more comics, that would be amazing. I would be like, I've done it. I've done it, everybody. If I can earn $4 to offset comics, that would be amazing. Sean's more like, I've been on Sean's streams where he's like, yeah, you know, those have helped pay for my brushes and my art, and it's like really noble. But for me, I'd be like, whoo, I can get issue 14 of Geiger now. Thanks, guys. Hey, if I told you every artist I like, you'd hate at least 3, I'm betting. Yes, it's true. It's true. It's true. We don't all have to like the same things. It's true. But Alan Davis, John Byrne, those guys are like, everybody likes those guys. That's what my reaction's from. We don't have to like the same thing except Alan Davis. Alan Davis is not the kind of artist that like gets that reaction of like, oh, how could you like Tim Sale gets that reaction from people sometimes. Like his style is so distinct that Rob Liefeld, right? Like so distinct, certain look, people who love it. I love it. People who hate it, really hate it. But Alan Davis is always one of those artists that like everybody, because he's just so solid. I don't know. Now I kind of want to see Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark. I'm sure it's happened. Just a few more minutes. Usually starts late and you don't want to go. Is it a Zoom class? Didn't you say it was a Zoom class? Couldn't it be just... Can you do that? I'm sure people do that, right? But I guess you have to pay attention. Don't do that. Don't do that, emo trash. That would be bad. Don't listen to me. If emo leaves, does this mean I have to chat more in order to be double the nuisance? Yes. Canada does a lot of comics publishing for the US. Yes. Usually, a lot of the times it's printed in Canada. Let's look at this one. Printed in Canada. Yeah. So who knows how that's going to work out in the next years or so. Who knows how that's going to affect the cost of the comics. I heard some guy at the store today, one of the stores today, was talking to Frank, actually. And this guy was talking to Frank, and he was saying, oh, this went up. Is that because of the tariffs? And I'm like, no, there's no way it happened that fast. But will it affect in the future? Probably, maybe. Who knows what will happen to comics. All right, here we go. Moon is following us, number 8. I think there's only 2 more issues. I think this goes up to 10. This is an awesome cover. I've been enjoying this book a lot. Daniel Warren Johnson is the writer and one of the artists. The other artist is Riley Rossmo. One of the things I do also keep in mind when I pick up books on the regular, like monthly books or whatever, I keep in mind of like, so for this example is a 10 issue series. And I'm like, if they compile a 10 issue, it's going to be really thick. So it'd be kind of nice to have the individual issues in this, as opposed to waiting for the graphic novel to be compiled. So sometimes I keep that in mind, like, and then in a different example is like, they'll compile like some books like Ghost Machine, they'll compile like the first 6 issues. And I'm like, well, maybe that price point and to have that short of a run would work better in graphic novel. Frank is always telling me from Amazing Fantasy, he's always saying like he feels like floppies are going to be going the way of the dodo soon. And I'm like, no, there's just something to it. Something to having the floppy. Even if they compile it in a graphic novel, there's something to having like the individual issues. And like when I go back and read old stuff, just pulling out that bundle and like opening each plastic, reading, there's something to it that's different than just sitting down and reading a whole graphic novel. I don't know. I love it. I love floppies. I love the format. I don't count bologna as salami. Okay. I just went on an entire tirade about why my brain's been deep fried the past few weeks. Let me live. Hot fruit on savory foods. Pray for the Okay, so John does not like pineapple pizza. The Maui Zowie is delicious. I love it. Me too. Yep, the spicy sauce is so good. Cranberry Landers likes this cover. Okay, good. Yeah, this is a exceptional cover right here. Really cool. So I would say almost every single one of these issues of The Moon is Following Us always ends in kind of like a little bit of a twist. There's some sort of twist in it, and that has kept me like in on the series. Just when you think you get an idea of like where the plot is going, he'll always throw in this like twist. It's great. And it's such a bizarre little world they've created. The characters are very fascinating. And at the heart of it, parents' story to try and like save their child is really compelling. So yeah, it's been a great run or great story. It's like wild, weird fantasy designs. It's cool. I always wonder too, Daniel Warren Johnson has such a distinct way of drawing hand-drawn sound effects. But this is Riley Rossmo doing this section, so I always wonder if like Daniel Warren Johnson comes and does the sound effects on top of Riley Rossmo's work, or if Riley Rossmo is just kind of doing it, because on Transformers, which is another book that Daniel Warren Johnson is just writing, they have all sorts of different artists. And but I find the sound effects treatments like these are very similar to how Daniel Warren Johnson would do it. So I always wonder that. I'm like, I wonder if DWJ is just doing the sound effects because it makes it feel like a Daniel Warren Johnson. Oh my gosh, spoiler alert. Somebody just got stabbed. That's the mother-in-law. Dang. See? It's like these kind of twists that leave you like, what's going to happen? That's pretty good. It's great. I like this cover. Really nice. Nice colors. Volume 1 trade paperback available now. I wonder if that means... Oh, available now. See? So... I mean, I can look it up, but it looks like if they say Volume 1 is available now, and this series isn't done yet, that means that this is maybe just like the first 5 issues, I'm guessing, and then they'll do a Volume 2, which is smart, but that solidifies my decision of picking up the individual issues, because even if you waited for the graphic novel, you'd have to buy 2 graphic novels to get the whole story. So yeah, it's always this game, this like waiting game. Can I wait? If there was a self-contained story that was 6 to 8 issues, maybe I'd wait. But because this went to 10, I'm like, they might split it, looks like that's what they did. It's cool. Solid. Oh, what a gross printing error. Thanks a lot, Canada. Look at that weird printing. I wish I saw that before I picked up the book. I don't think that's intentional printing. I think that's just the way the black printed out. Boo. Moon is Following Us, number 8. Good stuff. Mark's music obsession is still here. Prof is yapping now. Guess I gotta go. See you later, Irma Trash. Comrade Sammy says, I'll happily take my hot fruit on savory food with a side of zero Yeah, I love the savory sweet mix. I really do. I think it's when it's done right, I think it's a great combo. I'm back quickly to complain that he's already signing the next paper. What a jerk. Okay, bye for real. Everybody but me, I loathe Alan and Byrne. Amazing to other people. Nah, I'm sure you're not the only one. Cranberry Langers. You're the only one in my stream. Rocky, emo is paying for the class. Don't encourage you to be. No, I won't. No, emo needs to go to class, enjoy it, listen to your professors. I'll smuggle Canadian comics into US from Canada. That would be awesome. Art and Times of J. Ryan. You need to start a little like, what do they call it? Underground Railroad. Underground Comics Railroad. That's awesome. And then you like smuggle it across the border, like throw a bundle over the barbed wire fence. I'll catch it on the other side. That'd be amazing. It could happen. Sorry, guys, got to run. I'll listen to the download. Thanks. See you later, Jeffrey Beats. Enjoy your vacation. Forget this stream. Just enjoy the beach, man. Don't risk it. Modern comics aren't worth jail time. Thanks for the thought, though. They are worth jail time. What are you talking about? Will they de-extinct the dodo bird like the dire wolf? Oh, I saw that. That's so weird. We live in such a weird time. Things like reincarnating extinct animals. I don't know. Speaking of weird, speaking of cool, this Absolute Batman number 7. So the great thing about this is, the cool thing about this is I love Absolute Batman. I love what they're doing with the series. It's getting, I think it's the most popular, one of the highest rated Absolute series that's out from DC, and possibly one of the highest rated books that DC is putting out right now. And Scott Snyder's the writer on this, and Nick Dragotta, who I've talked about his art before on stream, amazing artist, and he's the guy who designed the new design, the thick Batman design. But they do have an artist coming in here for a couple filler issues. I think it's 2 issues. He's doing 7 and possibly the next one. Marcos Martin. Great artist. I love Marcos Martin's stuff. So when I heard that he was doing this fill-in, I was really excited. He's got a really unique style, and he works from, I think he's part of a studio called Panel Syndicate. I've shown some of his work before. Munza Vicente is also this incredible colorist. Hang on, let me see. Yes. So, Marcos Martin has worked with. Yep. So I'll give you guys a quick smattering of Marcos Martin's work here before we dive into this Absolute Batman. Oh my gosh, we got so much stuff to look at. Where are we at? Okay, so Marcos Martin, he did this book for DC a long time ago, Batgirl Year 1. They did like a Year 1 for Batgirl. Whoa, sorry. Just wanted to zoom out there a bit. Didn't mean to. And solid, great storytelling, just a great style. It reminds me a lot of the artist Javier Rodriguez, I believe, who's doing Absolute. You guys remember this from a week or so ago, Martian Hunter? They kind of have this similar feel and style to their work. I love them both. I don't even know how to describe it really. Marcos Martin did this Batgirl Year 1, which is a great series. And I don't even know how to describe his work. It's like kind of wispy a little bit, but he's a great storyteller, and he can just draw awesome. It's definitely more stylized, more simple. Is it in the realm of like Chris Samney a little bit? Maybe I can throw like Mazzucchelli's name out there. But yeah, just overall awesome artist. And the writer on this was Scott Beatty. Chuck Dixon both wrote on this. Here's some black and whites of his stuff. Let me zoom in just a hair. So yeah, he's just super solid. And simple. There's a simplicity to his work, but it's not like simple in that like, oh, he doesn't really know how to draw stuff, so he's just kind of over styling it. There's some people that like they choose the simplicity route, the simple designer. They're like simple designers or simple artists because they can't really draw, so they just stylize the heck out of things. They're more abstract. But no, he can for sure draw really well. But there's like an economy of line. I guess maybe that's a better way of putting it. He doesn't overcomplicate stuff with rendering or overdrawing things. It's super simple. That's why I bring up like Mazzucchelli or Samney. So yeah, he did this Batgirl Year One. And then this is another series that he did, and I believe I've looked at this a little bit on stream before, called Private Eye. This was released as a web comic at first, then they compiled it in this awesome landscape format. But it takes place in the future. It's kind of this future cyberpunk a little bit story. Detective story, like cyberpunk noir story, sci-fi noir. It's really good. It's fun. I've seen this in like Barnes and Nobles too, so they carry this all over the place, which is awesome. And he started this studio panel syndicate with Brian K. Vaughan, I believe. Yeah, Brian K. Vaughan is the writer on Saga and Paper Girls. I've never read either. And then Marcos Martin, and then the colorist. This is where the first time I heard of this colorist, Muntza Vicente. Super bizarre, interesting color choices, but I love it. I love it. It works well with Marcos Martin's work. And then there's this kind of like young adult. I almost want to say it's kind of like, if you guys ever read like Encyclopedia Brown. Did you ever read those books growing up? Encyclopedia Brown, kind of like young detective, young Sherlock story. Takes place in like everyday America. And Muntza Vicente, the colorist, went bananas on this coloring, which I loved. But this has been really entertaining, really fun series. And it gets dark. Like, it's like, oh yeah, it's like this young kid, young adult, story. But then it gets into the like witchcraft and like the occult. And there's some weird stuff that happens in it. So it makes it really good. It starts off with like a murder. And so, yeah, it goes there. Crazy, weird, creepy horror. So it's like they take that like format of like, oh, young detective in a neighborhood, but then they take it into like the horror venue. So this is a book called Friday. Highly recommend this. There's 3 of these books. I think that's all for Friday. So then when I heard that, so going back to this, when I heard that Marcos Martin was working on Absolute Batman, or doing some fill-in issues for Absolute Batman, I was really excited about that, because it's one thing to it's something to be like a fill-in artist for something so distinctly stylized already for Absolute Batman, like people already expecting Nick Dragotta's crazy thick Batman. So when you have to get a fill-in artist, best to find somebody that like can hold their own in that world. And I feel like Marcos Martin can do that. There was another issue, one that I actually didn't pick up. I want to say issue 4 or 5. I didn't pick up of the series where they had another fill-in artist, and I didn't like him at all. So just goes to show, like, you can have all the components, but if you cast the wrong artist in it, it could work against you. But not only that, not only Marcos Martin being here, but he's working with the colorist again, Munsa Vicente, on this book. So look at these kind of crazy treatment of color here. You don't even see a drawing of building. It's just like color swatch and some indications of lighting, but super cool. And I believe this is introducing Mr. Freeze into this world. I feel like some people like certain types of art because they think it's within their ability to create it. That's a good point. That is a good point. I'm kind of like that, but then when I try, I realize, oh no, I can't do that. Like, I could do that. And then I try myself and I'm like, oh no, I can't do that. That's a different level. Look at how thick this guy's face is, Bruce Wayne's face is. So he's embracing the thick Batman. It's cool. Ugh. Ugh. That's gross. Ugh, there's something to that, like, I've talked to you guys about this before. Like the holes, the little holes. That's disturbing. Gross. Oh, this is the new issue for Batman Hush 2. Cool. Wow, that's cool. Look at that panel. Yeah, this reminds me of Martian. These guys could be interchangeable. Marcos Martin and Javier Rodriguez, the guy who did Absolute Martian Manhunter. They got very similar vibe to their stuff. That's great. Great drawing. Yeah, these colors are very non-traditional. This is where the Mr. Freeze aspect comes into it. Ugh. So I guess they're going the horror route with this story. This is cool. It's really cool. Yeah, if you're a guest artist, speaking of Alan Davis, sometimes he'd be a guest artist on X-Men. You got to be able to hold your own, especially if you're filling the shoes of a very stylized artist who's the regular artist. So I love it. I think he was a great choice to fill in this issue. Whether you like his stuff or not, I think it's a great choice because they're not playing it safe with this story. Cool. Excited. Absolute Batman number 7. I like tons of art I have no chance of recreating, but that's too sometimes, yeah. That wasn't specifically... What I will do is something is so good that I can't look at it because it shows to me I have no chance of recreating it, but I like all kinds of art. Or sometimes you look at something that's so good, you're just like, how did they do that? And you just keep looking at it. It's like how Mobius is for me, or... there's an animator, artist, comic artist, designer by the name of Robert Valley. I've talked about his stuff a number of times on stream before, and great dude. Worked with him in the previous jobs before, but he's another one that you just look at his work and you're like, how? Like, he has this crazy photographic kind of memory, but the way he sees the world is almost through a warped fisheye lens. It's very graphic and stylized. I'm like, how in the heck did you draw that? Like, how did you even think of that? I just saw a trailer for Netflix is coming out with another season of Love and Robots. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that. I think they have 3 seasons out there right now. And Robert Valley he's worked on at least 2 of those seasons, if not all the seasons. He's done like a short film. It's like an anthology, animated anthology with different directors, different stories. And Robert Valley's done, at least I said 2 or 3 in that series. And he's doing another one in the new anthology. But his stuff is so like on a different planet, not only in execution, but just how he sees the world. So there's some artists like that, you just stare at their stuff over and over again. You get open it over and over again. You're like, how did you do that? Like, how in the heck are you seeing the world in that way? I used to hate Tim Sale. I appreciate his genius. I'm the same. Rocky is becoming increasingly more rebellious, and I take credit for that, Comrade Sammy says. Really? If this is rebellious, you live a pretty tame life. I like this Batman cover. I hated Tim Sale. This is likely where you lose me. Art and Times J. Ryan says. All right, we're flipping the switch now. Cranberry Langer says, I believe how you develop your taste is you have to know what an artist is responding to in their art style. Those who came before them, and you can learn their impetus or the context they're creating their art from. Helps you appreciate or have a better context of that word. I mean, that's a pretty mature way of looking at art. Sometimes you just look at art just for like the initial reaction you get, like, oh, that's so cool, or I don't like that. Never been a fan of Marcos's faces. Art and Times, there we go. Oh, how the tides have turned. Here we are. Indie is how Art and Times of J. Ryan would describe the style. I've never been a fan of the indie look in mainstream comics. All right. So here we go. Cranberry Langer says, so who you look at what time, what's common at the time, their predecessors, how they interpret their other artists and works, more about the natural world, help shape how you look at art. Some people do. Some people too. I think that's a really mature way of appreciating art, or a deeper way of appreciating art. But like I said, sometimes people just consume it as it drops in front. Do I like it? Do I not like it? I'm going to turn the page, or I'm not. And as the artist who's creating that, you kind of have to accept all responses. You know, some people, no matter how hard you work and the time you put in, the thinking you put into it, some people just look at it, have an initial reaction, and go, don't like it. And you're like, I just spent 5 years working on this magnum opus story and like crafting it and like thinking about, they're like, I don't like it. You gotta live with that. You gotta live with that. All right, saw that. Mighty Geek Studios. What's up, Mighty Geek Studios? Most stylized art is used in animation. I can see. So speaking as somebody who has been in animation, worked in animation, for sure there's that. It makes a lot of sense why artists who go into animation and then say transition to comics have that stylized or animated look to their stuff, because that's what animation, it's more economical, and that's kind of what the jobs require. Like you can't be animating in a Todd McFarlane style or a Stephen Platt style. Like that would be amazing, but that would not be executable by any stretch of the imagination, just because of the level of line work and rendering, and the anatomy is all exaggerated too much to like work in 3 dimensions. So yeah, I think when people work in animation, your brain kind of gets used to this idea of, okay, you got to simplify, eliminate any unnecessary details, because that means more work, more budget, longer time to execute something that's more complicated. Like when we were when we were working on our stuff, like on our studio, we got known for a certain style. There was a certain style that became very popular at the same time we started. And I think I'd like to think it's because there was this kind of symbiosis of like what we were looking at, what other people were looking at, and what worked in animation really well. But what we would do, like a lot of the work that we did in Ghostbot, we would eliminate like an exterior outline, and we just use self-colored stuff, so like color fills and self-colored stuff, so you didn't see like a hard black outline around the characters. They would just be like color, and you saw that style become really popular. And this was kind of at the same time we were working on our stuff. You saw that style become really popular, and like Samurai Jack was a big one, was a big series like that, and it has such an amazing art style, beautiful, simplified, because to be able to track that black line, and I've worked on jobs where we had to do a black line around stuff and then you do a color fill inside, that became really complicated, and it was a lot harder to animate stuff because the way that we were animating, we were using, at the time we were using a program that was vector based called Flash, and that style without the black line worked really well for that, and it gave us a lot more flexibility in how we animated the characters, how we designed stuff, and so we really leaned hard into that. And so, that was just because of the nature of the tools and the production schedule and what we had to execute. So we kind of simplified a lot of our stuff doing that versus like, if you had to do a style that was like rendered like a Japanese manga, like that would be so difficult. And that's why it's it's really hard. You got to have like really talented artists working on that, and like a team of hundreds of people just to render stuff like that. So I don't know if, bringing this back to the comics, I don't know if Marcos Martin or Javier Rodriguez or any of those guys worked in animation before and made which made them simplify their style. I don't think so. I think it's just kind of how they draw. So yeah, but it does have that kind of stylized, simple look to it. But you could look at artists like Sam Keith or Stephen Platt or whatever. Like they're stylized, but they're really complicated and a lot of drawing. So yeah. But I get what you're saying, Mighty Geek Studios. Mainstream comics now look like mid-2000s Image Oni small press books. Really? I don't know. Like, what were the books that were coming out mid-2000s Oni press books? I mean, some of them do. There are some of them. There's a lot of books out there that are like horror books now, and they all have kind of a different indie vibe to it. The mainstream stuff, like the DC, like I feel like this, this is the house style. This is like Jorge Jimenez, Dan Mora, those guys who are all phenomenal artists. Pepe Larraz is one who's working for Marvel. Incredible artists. It's this like Euro house style that they all have. And like what I was saying earlier, they're kind of interchangeable to me versus at the time that I got into comics, which was like the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, each one of those artists were so distinct from each other. You got to think of like Todd McFarlane, Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee. They're so different from one another, but they were like all Rob Liefeld, Dale Keown, like Sam Keith. They're all like super compelling and different. And that's what I love. I feel like it, at least in mainstream comics, it's kind of missing a little bit. There's these like house styles that, like here, this is Dan Mora's stuff, right? It's great. Great drawing. Awesome. Looks really similar to Jorge Jimenez stuff. But it's good. I mean, it's good stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Love the colors. I love Encyclopedia Brown. Yeah, I did too. I love those books. May have read some Encyclopedia Brown. It was in my house. Encyclopedia Brown solved most of his father. Yeah. It was so good. I remember like going to the back of the chapter and like, oh, this is how he solved it. I really love these panels and the art for the Batman book. Thank you, Cranberry Landers, for always giving the little like notes of what you're talking about, because I get to the chat so late. Thank you for giving me like a cue of what you're talking about. I also have an instinctual head liking of art. That's how it should be. You know, I don't think anybody can tell somebody to like reason somebody to like a certain kind of art. You either like it or you don't. And yeah, you could change your taste can change, your appreciation can change based on some of those things you were talking about earlier, Cran, of like, oh, you find out that this is what that person was thinking and this is what their influence is, for sure. But yeah, it's usually that gut reaction of like, and especially if you're paying money for it, there's a gut reaction to like, am I willing to pay $4, $5 for this book? $5. Dang, it's a lot of money. When I look at art, though, I like to know why I don't like the art. And I try to filter down to what they're saying, where they're coming from. Sometimes I just disagree with the artists. Yeah, and I think for me it comes down to like, do I need to own this? Or can I just borrow this from the library? And I've told you guys this. I'm fortunate enough to have libraries that stock up, have a great inventory on graphic novels. So I'd say maybe about 70% of the time I can find more current stuff. I can find current stuff or past compilations at my library. So I always question like, is this good enough that I need to own it, or can I just borrow it and read it and then be done with it? And so there's that. But I will say that it is that perfect combo of the art has to grab me and hold me. The story has to grab me and hold me. And the storytelling has to be really compelling for me to stick with something. I find my attention like wanes really quickly if any one of those are off the mark. I'll start like, I don't know. Like as great as here we go. As great as Alan Davis's artwork is on the nail, like the story right now, and I haven't finished it yet, but the story right now is like, okay, like where are we going? Like where's this? It's like a lot of like busyness that is not totally like grabbing me. So do I need to own the nail? Like as much as I love Alan Davis's work, do I need to own it because I'll be looking through it and reading it over and over again? Not necessarily, but I'm glad that I can borrow it from the library and read it. So even with an artist as great as that, something for me is not totally clicking with the story where it's making like, oh, that's amazing. I gotta own that. Sometimes I first like the art or love it, but then I say, yeah, that's close to what so-and-so did, and I stupidly ignore my liking of it. Pretentiousness. If you're doing cell animation, you have to understand the basic shapes of everything. Yeah, I mean, when you're drawing something over and over and over again, as much as you do in animation, you're going to go to simplification really fast. The basic shapes, whatever. You got to figure that stuff out, because if you have to draw that over and over and over again, you got to rotate that in space. It can't just be all like fluffy style stuff. It's got to be like, you got to work it out. So I think that's where, call it simplification or, just making things more graphic or whatever. That's where it comes in. That's why animated stuff tends to look the way it does. At least in America. Then you look at the Japanese and what they do. Then they have like phenomenal artists working on their animated stuff. It's really complicated, highly detailed, but you will notice that those shows that are amazingly drawn, there's a handful of them that are that way the whole way through. Oftentimes you'll see they like have like an incredible action sequence or something super complicated. And then for like 50% of the rest of it, it's just like, pop, 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 like just talking mouths, like really stiff and just like mouth flapping, not even like correct lip sync, you know? So it's because they spend all their time and their money on the very, very complicated scenes. And then they just got to like go super basic on like talkie scenes. So that's kind of the regular formula of Japanese animation, because they spend so much time, they have to spend so much time on the like very, very complicated action scenes or elaborate scenes. But every now and then you'll find a series that is all the way through like incredible. Akira is like one of those in my mind that like there is not a wasted frame. There's not a simplified frame in that movie at all, or like any of the Studio Ghibli movies are incredible. I mean, those are feature films, but you know, really, really incredible. Cowboy Bebop's another one like that. I mean, Cowboy Bebop even still has some mouth talkie tuffs, but it's so well done. I should just like what I like. Some things just look good. Yeah. I buy stuff that's just like, you know, no knock on Stephen Platt, but I mean, the dude's work is right there. I loved his stuff. It's just a mess, but it's so cool. It's so exciting. And part of that has to do with when I was exposed to it and how excited I was as a kid to look at it. But if I read it now, I'm like, I can't even see what's going on here. I don't know what you're doing. The story doesn't make any sense, or it's just ridiculous. But it still looks cool. So don't ever like disregard just the gut reaction, the cool factor to looking at stuff. Like sometimes that can carry you through. Bruce Timm Styles works both. Yep. Mighty Geek Studios. I've talked about that before, and you are absolutely right. That's what makes him such a genius. And I don't. I tend to not like the animated style in comic stuff because it almost feels too simple to me, and maybe that's just because most of my career is in animation, and it just goes there. You know, I'm just like, oh, looks like you used to be an animator. But there's very few people that can straddle that line for both of them, and Bruce Timm is one of them for me. I think he's a phenomenal animation designer, director, creator, and I think he's as equally a phenomenal comic book artist. Darwin Cook is another one of those that's just like both of his work in both industries was unbelievable. So there's few, but those two guys are up there. Even if you look at guys like Humberto Ramos, Joe Mad, J. Scott Campbell, they all look recognizable, even though they are derivatives of guys who came after. Yep. I love those guys' work. Cliffhanger Studios, those guys, I think, same. I think they were kind of like wave 2 for the image creators, like, and jacked up. So like they each had such distinct styles. J. Scott Campbell, obviously influenced by like Jim Lee and Arthur Adams, and Joe Mad influenced by like Darkstalker, like manga artwork, action Japanese artwork, and Jim Lee. Humberto Ramos, same. But they were so distinct, and I think they were just as exciting when their stuff came out. Their books, Crimson, Battle Chasers, and Danger Girl, just as exciting when they came out. And they're so different from each other. Mark Silvestri could draw Victoria's Secret. He either was referencing, sorry, I just grabbed a piece of fuzz floating in the air. He was either referencing a Victoria's Secret catalog all the time, or yes, he could draw a Victoria's Secret catalog. He was amazing. Having more refined taste doesn't mean you don't have to give up on vanilla or appreciate plain bread. You could call something normal, but that normal is based off of my own. Okay. Culture and history, where I am when my own context from what, yes, you. All right, Shelby. Let me finish it and see if I need to own it afterwards. I know you're a huge fan of Alan Davis, though. It suffers from too many character syndrome. Like, yes, that's how I feel. That's definitely how I feel when I was reading it. And I think Alan Davis wrote it, right? So is he the best writer? Yeah. I mean, as far as I can say, he's okay, but it's not like, oh, like so good. I try to forget other references now to have an appreciation for what an artist is trying to do. Come at it with my eyes. Fresh look. Yes. For me, there are no sacred cows, as it were. No one is perfect. No one is beyond critique. Once you put work out there and start asking for money for it, you are fair game. Yeah. That's the name of the game. You know, it's like, you know, at the end of the day, you're trying to sell it as an artist, right? It's not like we're just putting it out for the good of humanity and that's it. I think, like, you know, whether you're making a comic book or an animated short or a TV series or drawing an illustration, at the end of the day, you want people to buy it and make a living off of it, I think. At least that's the kind of artist I am, whether you want to call that a commercial artist or not. For sure, there are things that you just want to create just to get out there and have an audience for. But for the most part, you want somebody to say, that's good enough that I'm going to pay you for that because I appreciate that. So yeah, you gotta, that comes with all sorts of reactions if you're asking for people to put down their hard-earned money. Sakuga is the term for the one kick-ass scene in the Money Shot. Oh, really? Wow, I didn't ever know that. There you go. There you go. And there usually is one, if not more. Check out Lazarus first episode animation. Oh, that's the series by isn't that the series, but the new series by Watanabe, right? Alan? Where do you check that out? Where can I see Lazarus? I definitely want to see that. I saw somebody I follow on X has been working on that. And he posts like rough animation that he did, or like pencil animation that he did of that. And it looks like mind blowing. So tell me where I can see that. Gaps, intentional gaps. Now I've taken to comparing artists' work to their previous works. It's cool. I mean, it's cool to definitely, I love researching where an artist came from and seeing their influences. That's why I love all those like artist biographies that I have, modern masterworks, or like the Tim Sale book, the black and white book that is about Tim Sale's career. I love that kind of stuff. And it does give me more of an appreciation for their work, I think. But first, at the first step is they have to grab me. They have to grab my attention before I go deep to find out where they came from. All right, cool. Let's move on. We still have a lot more. G.I.Joe, A Real American Hero, Silent Mission. So last week we talked about Beachhead, Silent Mission. The next one is Jinx, and here it is. It came out. So what I found out is they're coming out with one a week. So there will be, the next one will come out next week. They'll probably say at the end of this book which one that is. Next week is Spirit. Our old Native American buddy. Who's drawing this one? Chris Peter. Never heard of him. Leonardo Romero is another one whose style reminds me of Marcos Martin, Javier Rodriguez. Chris Samney kind of lives in that world. He did this cover right here. All right, cool. So Spirit's next week. But here's Jinx. Let me zoom in a little bit. So this is drawn by Dan Waters. I've never heard of. Oh no, sorry. Danny is the co-writer artist. The other co-writer is Dan Waters. Danny, never heard of them. If that's a girl or a boy, I don't know. But it's cool style. This is Jinx. This actually reminds me a little bit of Elsa Charetier's artwork. She's a French artist that I've talked about way early in my streams. She works with Tom King a lot. She worked on a book called Love Everlasting. And Room Service, which was this kind of horror short film that her partner directed and she storyboarded. She's another one that kind of has this animated, simplified style. Arguably looks like Darwin Cook's, like influenced by Darwin Cook's work a lot. So this kind of reminds me of her stuff, but this is cool. It's a cool style for Jinx. They kind of do this limited color palette with her red ninja outfit, which I always thought was awesome as a kid. But then in retrospect, you think like, as a ninja, and maybe because we have an actual ninja in the chat, Comrade Sammy, she can tell us. As a ninja, don't you want to be hidden? So why would you wear a bright red outfit? Unless I guess you hide the blood? You know what I'm saying? But as a kid, seeing a red female ninja, awesome. Sold. Doesn't necessarily make sense for ninja tactics, but amazing for merchandise. That's cool. They're doing like a 24 thing here where like a countdown on the time. That's cool. That's a cool device. Do you guys remember the countdown clock in Spawn? Todd McFarlane's Spawn. I remember when he did that, the first issues of Spawn. You're like, oh my gosh, the countdown. What's gonna happen? And then I don't even remember what happened to that countdown. I feel like it just kind of like, oh shoot, like it, it's almost like when they're counting down and they went from like 19, 18, 18 and a half, 18 and a quarter, and then like nobody paid attention to it. I never tracked like what happened to that countdown, but it's a cool device to instantly add tension to a moment. It was cool. It's fun art style, fun layouts here. Yeah, that's great. This kind of reminds me of like Aeon Flux a little bit. Those Aeon Flux shorts that were silent, or not silent, but there's no dialogue. Just like a character like making their way through space, trying to defuse a bomb or like assassinate somebody. Danny 2025. That's pretty cool. Whoops. Guess they cut the wrong. This is as much about the Crimson Guard as it is Jinx. Danny and Dan Waters. Yeah, I never heard of this artist before. Danny. I'll have to look them up and see what other work they've done. The layouts here. Typical Skybound art. Did you guys see Skybound? I don't know if you follow Skybound at all, which is Robert Kirkman's company, did Walking Dead and Invincible, and super successful. And then they're the banner that Transformers is under, the current Transformers, and then the new G.I.Joe, all that kind of stuff. And I guess this too. Yes, Skybound, that's the logo. But they just put out a Kickstarter for the Transformers Compendium where they're compiling all the past Transformers issues. They did it for G.I.Joe, and now they're doing it for Transformers. It's like this huge, like 4-volume omnibus box set thing. They made crazy money on their first day. I think they made like $1.5 million on their first day because people wanted that badly. And from what I understand is it's not only all the American comics, but I think also the UK Transformers, and they kind of interwove them according to timeline. So it's pretty extensive, but that's a little bit out of my price range. I say that as I've buy comics regularly. But I'm not the hugest like Transformers comics of the old comics fan. I didn't really grow up with those comics, so I don't feel like I need to own all of them, but I don't know. I felt that way about the G.I.Joe compendium. And then I saw it in the store. They released a version that was in the store, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Super thick, like really, really like phone book thick. Anyway, Silent Missions Jinx. So the next one will be Spirit. Next one, I like the series. I really love it. I think it's unlike some of the all those like black, white, and red miniseries that Marvel and DC do, or like Marvel Zombies, black, white, and red, Venom, black, white, and red, Darth Vader, black, all those kind of anthologies. I feel like they're forced, but I love this Silent Missions one. I think it works really well with G.I. Joe, and it's a great tribute to the silent interlude issue with Snake Eyes. And so far, these first two have been great. So I love it. I love this. I love what they're doing here, and I look forward to the next two. Spirit is the next one. I don't know who the last one is. Leonardo, Wes Craven. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they don't say. Silent Mission. They don't say what the one after Spirit is. Cool. All right, how many more? Oh my goodness. Where are we at, chat? So this is just Silent Interlude, but with Jinx. Yes. Sakuga D's. Women are like that. They got to grab my attention before I go. I like the backgrounds, layouts, but just, I like the backgrounds and layouts, but the bodies. Okay. Yes, but isn't her whole thing bad luck? Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yes. I guess so. You're right. That makes sense. Jinx. Got it. But I don't know about the red costume though. These have to know the character. Skybound is also collecting the UK Transform. Yes, which I don't know if we ever got out here. Yes, I think that's the big thing about this compendium, and probably why a lot of people are like excited about it, because they're integrating them all together. From what I understand, it's massive. And they're making tons of money off of it. So good for them. I mean, it's awesome. I think they respect. It seems like Skybound respects the original source material so much. And they respect the fans, so they're doing it right. Writing that story with her bad luck debuff would take more thought and planning. Maybe it helps her blend in with all the red building interiors, blood-filled pools. Maybe. I don't know. What's up, Timmy Mello? Long time no see.
And the Guardians are headed to October.
Hail, chat. I'm on a brief break, but I wanted to stop by and show I still had a pulse. Good to see you, Timmy Mello. How's baseball season treating you? Didn't we? Oh, no, I think we were playing the Reds. I don't think we were playing Cleveland. We just got smacked around our last two games. We were doing so well. We were number one in the West for a hot minute. Then we just got slapped around a couple games. So hopefully we can turn that around. But how are you doing? Maybe she's dressing like other guys there to blend in with them. I don't know. Just not the bodies. I should proofread before sending chat comments. No problem. All right. So this was a book that I wasn't going to pick up because I'm not into all the new, like I haven't been picking up any of the Ultimate stuff. To be honest, Marvel hasn't, DC's kicking Marvel's butt right now as far as interesting things are coming out. So I was like, well, and why are they reinventing? I don't know the premise of any of this. The only thing that was of interest of this particular book for me was the artist, and that's Pepe Larraz. Pepe Larraz did that whole Blood Hunt series that I collected and shared with you guys on stream. And he's great. He's worked with Mark Miller before. So I like his work a lot. I think that Pepe Larraz, who am I to say, but with his work, I find it does feel a little digitally to me. But again, who am I to say he's like amazing, amazing artist, draws really dynamic stuff and just beautiful characters, beautiful designs and stuff. So I was kind of interested in it, but I wasn't planning. I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's cool, but I wasn't planning on picking it up because I know more likely than not, I'm not going to pick this up as a regular series. But when I didn't find that one mystery book, which it'll be the last book I show on today, when I didn't find that book, I was like, oh, I can't walk into the store and not walk out with any. I mean, I could, but I just felt like I needed to support the store. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a whirl. And so here we are. But, Pepe Larraz's work is great. He's a great artist. He's got fun characters, fun drawings. And I like I said, I have no idea what this new Amazing Spider-Man is. I feel like it's so confusing when you restart so many times. They're doing this with Ultimate Spider-Man now, which people say is great. Haven't read it. So I have no idea why they're starting Amazing Spider-Man again. But yeah, he's a good artist. It's good stuff. Very appealing. And yeah, he worked with Mark Miller. He drew The Big Game. Mark Miller's Big Game, which was like his big crossover event for a lot of his properties. And it was great. That's cool. Cool Rhino. Cool Spider-Man. Yeah, that's great. That's good art. That's great. So we'll see. The writer on this is, I think it's Joe Kelly. I can't off the top of my head think of what, I know Joe Kelly's work, but I don't, like nothing stands out to me of like, oh yeah, that blah, 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 Joe Kelly run. I don't remember. He's got fun expressions in his work. Yeah, he's a solid artist. Really solid. That's awesome. It's cool to see his take on all the all these characters. He did that on Big Game. He did that on Blood Hunt, where he draws like every single character really well. Yeah, Joe Kelly. All right, we'll see. We'll see how it is. Then there's this backup story with John Romita Jr. JR, still cranking it out. Guy's still doing it. If you guys follow him on like Instagram, he does these funny videos. They're not intended to be funny, but he's always sitting at the drawing table, and I think his wife is filming him, and he's like, "Hey, this is Johnny Romita Jr." and it's like all jacked up, drawing on the stage. Still doing it. The Hell Gate is open. Well, well, well. So there you go. Amazing Spider-Man #1. I'll let you know if the story is interesting enough. I doubt I will keep picking this book up. This is more of a book that I would like. I'll read it. I'll borrow it from the library, but I don't really need to own it. It was kind of a pity buy. Sometimes you get, maybe it's just me. I'm just feel like, oh, I can't walk out of here without buying anything. It's so mean. Gotta support my store. All right, 2 more. Oh yeah, we got that. Timmy Mello. Very cold right now. Timmy Mello's getting the cold. What I miss? Has Rocky been talking for 6 hours yet? No. 7? No. Give it another couple hours. You can blame me for a good amount. Conversation. Another number 1. I know, right? It's just stop it already. I forgot what book it is. It's like, it's either Detective Comics. I know, maybe it's Action Comics. I can't remember. I think Detective Comics is like in the thousands as far as the issue number, which is amazing. Like, just do that. Just keep adding on. Or I know Todd McFarlane is like 390 or something crazy like that issues of his independent. Like, he's the number 1 independent, consistent independent book. That's awesome. I don't need another number 1. Looks like it's switching artists mid-page sometimes with Pepe Larraz. Maybe. More time to be blessed with his presence. Thank you, Cranberry. I like his figures and the layouts. Yeah, he's good. He's good. Look at that J. Scott Campbell panel on the first page of Peter. J. Scott Campbell page on the first page of Peter. That's weird. That's a weird face right there. J. Scott Campbell page on the first page of Peter. What are we talking about? Did I miss it? Or are you referencing something? I don't like this like fluid version of the spider web. The Ultimates in that ad is a must read. Really? Is Ultimates this one? Ultimate Spider-Man? Is it really? That's a weird face. Like, I'm not big on the Ultimate Wolverine. I don't know. That's something that I think, and they're starting to come out with the graphic novels or the compilations for the Ultimate stuff. I'll do that. Like, I'll read those in those compilations. Those will be library buys for me, or library borrows for me. But I don't know if I need to own those. Cool Moon Knight cover. Okay, so this artist, he didn't do the cover though. Why did I pick up this book? Because, so, kind of a roundabout story. One of the YouTube channels that I'm subscribed to is Declan Shalvey's YouTube channel, who you guys know, I've talked about him a number of times. And he's been doing these cool draw streams recently where he's just doing his commissions. He's inking his commissions that he gets at like cons and stuff like that. And so he does it live and he's got a chat going. And so I participate in the chat and it's really fun. And what the cool thing is because he's Declan Shalvey, he knows a lot of working artists in mainstream comics right now. And so sometimes they'll pop up in the chat. And this artist, Devmalya Pramanik, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He popped up in Declan's chat. And so at one point it was just me and him in the chat. And we were just talking, you know, to Declan Shalvey about his artwork and just kind of different influences and how awesome it was. And so I just I've never heard of this artist before, but Declan was saying like, oh, you're doing a great job on Moon Knight and you're killing it. And blah. So I started looking up his Instagram and it was great. It was really cool. He had some cool stuff. I actually honestly like, he has some of these panels in black and white on his Instagram page. So look up his name, Devmalya Pramanik, and you can see his artwork. But it was cool. I was like, oh, cool. So I, you know, as I was chatting with the guy, I was like, I'll totally check out your work. It looks amazing on Instagram. So I found this book again, in the shop, when I was like, oh, I gotta buy something, I saw this book. I'm like, oh, okay, I can get this book. So yeah, he's got a kind of a cool, reminds me a little bit of like Street Fighter or something, but really cool anatomy, exaggerated anatomy, fun style. I feel like the colors are a little overdone on this book, especially after seeing his black and white art. But that's just me. But yeah, he seems to draw very dynamic artwork, cool anatomy, cool poses, and in this particular thing, this Fist of Khonshu thing, it's almost like a MMA fighter series. I don't know anything about the story in it, but like these kind of extreme angles are awesome. I love this rendition of Moon Knight with the black mask. And he's I believe he's an Indian, like Asian Indian, from Asia, Indian artist that immigrated to Canada. So he lives in Canada right now, but he's kind of on his up and up in mainstream comics. And he was saying like one of the series he would love to work on would be like a Spider-Man 2099 series, and I could totally see him doing really good on that. That's cool. Yeah, it's cool. I love these extreme angles. Like cut out the panel to follow the figures. That's interesting. Yeah, cool stuff. It's really dynamic. Good, like, exaggerated anatomy, really dramatic. We'll see if I understand what's going on in the story, because this is a number 5. I don't think he's drawn all of the Fist of Khonshu Moon Knights. But he may have drawn like the issue before this one. So yeah, new up-and-coming artist Devmalya Pramanik. And that is why I picked that one up. Later, guys. I'll catch the rest of the stream on playback when I get off. See you later, Timmy Mello. Have a good day. Rhino is such a beast. That's right. Your finger was on it. Bottom left, page 1. It's a J. Scott face, 100%. Page 1, bottom left. This? With the dot eyes? Really? Yeah. It's like a silly, like, comic book lingo a little bit there. You do that in anime all the time. All right. Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu. Okay. Boom. Oh, I thought I had one more book. No, I have 2 more books. Okay, this next one later. Yeah, I got that. An additional view, and like Rocky, got to get those hours. Thanks, Big Boy Burgers. MMO, what's up? K-pop junkie. How are you doing, K-pop? The one above that. Oh my gosh. The one above that. Okay, we're gonna see this. This one. I find the difference. Excuse me. J. Scott has such a like inky, like really stylized ink line, which is in that Jim Lee Homage Studios finish look. And Pepper Lorez's stuff feels more like a brush. I know it's digital, but just kind of like a brushy, inky stuff. So I don't know. I know like J. Scott Campbell has more of the like hatching stuff in there, but the expression, I don't know. I feel like J. Scott's eyes are even bigger. I'm trying to think if I have, I mean, this is This is, oh no, I do. I mean, this is older J. Scott stuff, but like his eyes are a lot more exaggerated, bigger, kind of anime influence. I mean, this, like I said, this is older J. Scott stuff. Oh, I love J. Scott and Campbell's work. But, you know, J. Scott had great expressions too in his stuff. Sorry, we're getting off track here, but okay, I'll give you that. Art and Times of J. Ryan. As far as expression, sure. This is really weird eyes. Imagine staying on model. Right? Yeah. Modern J. Scott is 100% that panel. Okay, sure. Let's die on that hill. Okay, this one is a weird one. This is a really weird one. This is a weird one. Power Lords. The only recollection I have of Power Lords were that the toys that came out for this when I was a kid, especially this guy, were so creepy. They were so weird. Let me see if I can... Let me see if I can look up these toys. These were the creepiest toys because I can't. Oh yeah, this is a good image to share. So that on the right, like, who thought that was a great toy design? It was so weird that it was like half of his, like, I think he turned his head around or turned his body around. It was just bizarre, really weird. But I remember it creeping me out as a kid. But it was memorable, that's for sure. Really memorable. So, and that whole series was weird. Like all the characters were weird in that. And then I saw that they were doing a comic out of it. So that's what this is. And I saw this on the rack today. I actually got this at Frank's shop, and Frank was like, huh, Power Lords. You'd like Power Lords? And I'm like, I don't know. But the artwork's pretty cool. I've seen this artist before. I think I follow him on X. V. Ken Marion. Kind of has like a Joe Mad inspired, speaking of Joe Mad, like a Joe Mad inspired art style. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I think Dustin Weaver did this cover. And Dustin Weaver did that book. I've reviewed it a number of times called Packless. And he's a great artist, Dustin Weaver is. So anyway, I was just curious. This was like a weird one to get. But I was curious to see if they could make this cool. That's pretty cool. So the artwork's not bad, you know. It's fun. It's like action-y. I don't know the history of the... I mean, it's one thing to create a weird blue guy. It's another thing to create a character with like 3 eyes. Extra eyes are always unnerving. And then this like tank He-Man dude. It's a mess. It's fun though. I love sci-fi stuff, so I'm into it. I'm into seeing if this could be cool. I've spent money on weirder things, weirder comics. Yeah, totally bizarre designs here. But at least the artwork is decent and good. You know, does that not creep out anybody else? 3 eyes. It's weird. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about Power Lords other than We'll give it a go. They have this whole line, the Nacelverse, which I think is all these like toy lines that came out in the 80s. And they're redoing all the like comic, the IP, putting them out as new comics, like Sectors, another weird bug alien designs, Biker Mice from Mars, Robo Force. Here are all the toys. So strange. I just feel like with all of these, it's always like 2 clicks, like in the realm of like, it's like those toys you find when you go overseas, those like knockoff toys. It's not like Transformers, it's like transmogrifiers, or I've seen so many of those. Yeah, it's a weird one, but interesting enough for me to say, all right, I'll try it. Power Lords. All right, let's see. Remember that guy? I like the crash test dummy toys, Michael Bancroft says. I don't think I was ever interested in getting a toy of a crash test dummy. What's up, Bancroft?
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
I'll add this to the list of things you're afraid of, Rocky, right next to worms. Yeah, half blue figures. That, there was the tiny little holes in the face in that Absolute Batman that creeps me out. And yeah, I've got a list of things. Slugs, worst. V is awesome. V is awesome. Oh, V. Oh, the artist. So exciting seeing him doing comics. Oh, cool. Have you met him, K-pop? Nice. I thought you were talking about the show V. I love the show V. Another weird thing from my childhood, but I loved that show. But yeah, so excited to see him do it. Cool. That's awesome. I like the cover and some of these panels. Nice. I actually like the character designs. Yes. I mean, this looks cool. The way it was translated in a toy back when I was a kid was not so cool. Weirder things. Cough. Stop it. I've read and liked weirder. I'm not surprised. Does anyone remember Army Ants? Yes. And Grunts toys? I do remember Army Ants. Those were awesome. I think they had like a commercial for the Army Ants too, didn't they? And they all had different personalities. I totally remember those. Sectors. Of course, Alan Lau would remember Sectors. I think Grunts I remembered. Not familiar with the Army Ants toys. Oh my gosh. I think I'm going to have to... Yes. Whoa, that was loud. Let's see. Oh, wait, I don't remember this commercial. Yeah, they were kind of like in the era of muscle toys, kind of like that. Is this one? Yeah, I guess we can. I guess we can show this. Hopefully, this doesn't blow up in my face. Excuse me.
Up and hills, down and dales, as we hit the dusty trail, Army ants we go marching along. We are bad, we are boss, we got guts that's pushing squads.
Kind
Army
of.
ants we go marching along. Army ants. Then it's high, high, he for the anti-artillery.
That's kind of cool.
Grab the egg, for where'er we go. You know
I remember it's kind of like, gosh, what were those toys called? They're like the Hood. They're like characters from the Hood. And you just bought the little like figurines in these little blister packs like that. Totally reminds me of that. But the cool thing, at least the way they did for Army Ants, was they each had personalities or based on their jobs or whatever that they were in the army. It was really cool. I actually like those. I liked Mighty Max. Yes, Mighty Max. Muscle toys are great. I love those. I was very jealous not to have it. And I think I've showed this on stream before. I have some of my old muscles here. These guys. I love those toys. This weird bubblegum color. Army Ants were great. Oh yeah, Army Ants looked cool. Marianne did an incredible cover on Michael Odin's new Elysian Fields book. Okay. I don't know about that book. I'll have to look it up. He was part of our OG Twitch crew. Ah, you and your Twitch crew back in the day and would do Bernard and Sean's monthly art channels. Awesome. Challenge. Like Ken Marion because he's 6'7". Jeez. Army X look cool. Everyone looks under 5 foot being on cam. Yeah. You don't know how tall anybody is on YouTube. Ken is an inch taller than me. You're 6'6", Art and Times, Jay Ryan. Holy crap. Hear me out. Tracy Lords, that's the pitch. Okay. He's probably actually 6'9". He's got a few on Tyler Kirkham, who's like 2 over me. Oh my gosh. You guys should start your own basketball team. I like these tall dudes fighting over inches now. Oh my God. Homies. That's right. Thanks, Shelby. Homies. Those were like, whoever invented that became a millionaire. And I was like, oh my gosh. But it's kind of genius. Excuse me. Eric Hutfels makes those now. Do I have any more cough drops? These little guys. Yeah, these are awesome. I've seen some people do it. I don't know if it was Eric Hutfels that I saw do it or somebody else do it. Oh, I have the one that Nick Patera did for his campaign. The comic book was, oh man. Axe Wheeler John. I unboxed that on stream a long time ago. But he did one for, I don't know who did this for him, but it's awesome. It's a little bigger than the actual muscles, but really cool. They're fun little collectibles. And it's fun when, I mean, nobody knew anything about what these characters were about, but you just made your own stories just based on their designs. So it's really, really cool. How many packs have you smoked today? 0. Homies, I remember those. Crazy Bones? I don't know what Crazy Bones is. I'm 6'2", basically a midget to the... Actually, thank you. I don't even pretend to remember the little people. But K-Pop Jumpy says, yeah, you remembered Army Ants. Okay, boom. Here's the last book. This was the one that I was looking for. It was at my first store. I didn't buy it because I was going to buy it at the second store. It was not at the second store. Frank said he thinks his delivery didn't come in for this book because he always buys Mark Miller's books. And then it wasn't at the third store until I was about to buy those other 2 books, The Amazing Spider-Man and the Moon Knight book. And then Chris put this out. And I was like, oh, you have it. This was her only issue. Here it is, Vatican City. So new one from Mark Miller and Per Berg. And I know Per Berg's an independent comic artist. I've seen his stuff on YouTube here and there. He's pretty active in some YouTube stuff. And I love, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he just got discovered on YouTube or social media by Mark Miller. Mark Miller just saw his stuff and said, like, this guy's amazing. I want to work with him. And then they reached out to him. And then here he is producing a book with Mark Miller. How crazy cool is that as an independent artist? So Vatican City #1 just came out this week. Pretty awesome. Mark Miller works with who Mark Miller wants to. And I love it. I love that, like, gone are the days of the Marvel tryout book. Do you guys remember that? Like, that was the only way to get discovered by Marvel, or you had to go to conventions with your portfolio. So gone are the days. Now in this day and age of social media, just how connected we are in the world, people, Instagram, X, whatever medium you use, you can find creators. And if their work resonates with you, or they like your stuff, they might reach out to you and work with you directly. So this is a cool kind of success story, I think, for Pear. And it's just awesome to see this happen. So I'm really excited to check out this first book. And I'm not that familiar with his work, but from what I've seen online and some of the independent stuff that he's done, he's got such a unique style. Really, like, one of those artists that sees the world in a very unique way and interprets it in a unique way. So yeah, and of course Mark Miller's doing something vampires. Of course he is. He loves that. He loves bloody vampires. I believe Mark Miller's also, I believe he's a Catholic as well. So it's interesting that he's doing such a gory story about the Vatican. I'm 6'1" in rollerblades, Michael Bancroft says, aka heels. 7'10" on stilts. Oh man, we need to get Bancroft taller blades to roll up on you foos and make you jealous. Narwhal, that's right. Narwhal is the name that he's gone by on YouTube, I guess, or like social media. That's right. I know that I think he was on Shant's stream once too. That's kind of where I think I first heard of his stuff. It's crazy too with his style. Like, he has some like really realistic looking faces, but then they get super cartoony too in places. Such a unique approach. Like, that looks really real. And then there's some super exaggerated stuff. I love the angles that he picks too in his camera. Pretty cinematic. Did he do the colors himself? Yep. And letters. Dang. He just did the whole thing. It's pretty impressive. I don't know how long the series is going to be. This is #1. I don't think it's an ongoing series. I feel like it's like maybe a 6-issue series from what I remember. Like, this kind of looks like reference from somewhere. So yeah, it kind of flips back and forth between the very, very stylized simplicity to like what feels like referenced imagery. It's pretty loose too. Cool. Yeah, all I know is it's like vampires and priests in the Vatican. Maybe the Pope's in it. Don't know. But it feels like classic Mark Miller story. Oh yeah, he's working on a new story with John Romita Jr. too. The guys can do nothing wrong. He's just cranking stuff out. Hear Me Out, Mexican City. It's basically just the daily exploits at Baskin Robbins out in Dos Polos. That's the pitch. Is that with or without Tracy Lords? Just sleep hanging from your ankles like Bruce Wayne does, Mark. They'll stretch you out nice. You just described autism. Oh my gosh. Unique is an apt description of pear. Yeah, it's like, it's kind of one of a kind. Like there's not an artist you'd look at and go, oh yeah, he's drawing like blah, blah, blah. Or I see he's influenced by blah, blah, blah. I really don't. Just kind of his own thing, which is crazy. In this day and age, right? It's crazy to find somebody like, maybe he's influenced by Europe. I can see maybe a Euro influence. Maybe he looks at some Euro artists that I'm not aware of. Looks like he uses some 3D reference in here for some of the, like this feels like it's 3D referenced or rendered, whatever, that he draws over. So that's kind of a cool technique. And then really loose and fast. So yeah, we'll see. I tend to like stuff that's a little tighter than this. Like it would be interesting to see him like inked by somebody else, but I'm sure he just cranks this out really, really fast. And his layouts are so dynamic that it might not even matter. But I'd be curious to see him if he was inked by somebody else. Even this cover is so like not what you would expect for a comic book cover. I can see why Mark Miller was like attracted to his style. Shelby and Tracy Lords is the ice cream server. With all these incredible elevators, it's incredible. It's amazing. Like it's just gold. Like what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I know he didn't write this, but there's always bureaucracy in Pear's books. Maybe maybe that's what connected Mark Miller with his stuff, you know. Three parts. Oh, there's 3 parts. Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. 3 issues. I mean, this one is $6.99. That's a little expensive. And I know that Mark Miller does a great job of keeping his books down in cost. The previous books that he's released. So I didn't do a page count on this. Maybe it's more pages than normal. But $6 for per issue is a little high. But maybe it's because there's more pages. Mexican City, 2 scoops of death. Jay spelled diarrhea wrong 2 times. Oh my god! Oh my gosh! What are you guys talking about? I said his art looks like Frank Miller, Greg Ticini. Oh, Greg Ticini. That sounds really familiar. Have to fight for who gets to draw what on the page. Frank Miller. I don't know if I see the Frank Miller. Are you talking about just maybe like the cinematic angles? And I haven't dived deep on this, so, and I'm really not familiar with Narwhal or Pear's work closely, so I'll have to take a closer look and see, but Frank Miller. We'll see. Greg Ticini, that sounds really familiar, though. Greg Ticini. Oh, I can see it. I can see that reference. Like really loose, kind of like a loose painterly. Yeah, I can see that. I'll have to look closer for the Frank. I mean, when you say Frank Miller, you know, like my radar goes up. Speaking of which, guys, this is a good way to segue. I guess I just got this printed at size. Ready to go. This was the winner for the next master study. I leveled it out to take the colors out of the scan. But we're going to be moving forward on this one next. I'd like to get a master study, the first stream of this. I'd like to get one in before the end of the week. So stay tuned. But I'm very, very excited that this one won. I think Electra took it. I loved the two that were in top contention. It was this one and the roller coaster one. And I love that roller coaster one, but I think because Electra's in this one and that amazing face, I think that's what took this one over the top. It's awesome. So yeah, super excited about that. Frank Miller, Daredevil from the 80s. Let's go. It's going to be a good one. Perry uses 3D backgrounds and elements all the time. Okay, cool. Really like the backgrounds, Cranberry says. Tachini drew Low. Oh, yes. I haven't read that. I have to kind of... I need to brush up on my Rick Remender work, or like catch up on reading more Rick Remender stuff, because I know he has his whole studio / universe and he's written a lot. Interesting fact, I actually worked at the same animation studio I did when I was coming up. He kind of did a stint up here in the Bay Area. I think he's from LA, but he did a stint up here for a little bit on a project, and we were both working on the same project at the same time. It was just commercial stuff. But he got his start. Remender got his start in animation, and then he was writing, doing independent comics on the side. And I think the comic that he was producing while he was working in animation at the same time we crossed over, was Blackheart Billy. It was an indie book that he worked on. And I was like, oh, cool, this guy's doing this indie book and blah, 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 blah. I didn't really get to know him. I just kind of worked on the same job as he did. And then lo and behold, he blew up into this incredible, prolific comic book writer. So pretty awesome. I really like that Electra page. Cranberry Landry says, nice. I mean, current day Miller, not his older. Oh, I see what you mean. Like that kind of loose, like one line style. I see what you mean. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, I see what you mean. I feel like Pear's work is more grounded in realism than Miller's current style. Like Miller's current style is just going on another plane of like abstraction. So, which I love. And we've talked about this before. But I feel like Pear's stuff is like a lot more realistic. Like it feels like realistic proportions, really interesting angles, but all based on reality and less abstract than Miller is going. But I would definitely agree with you on the Ticini reference. That's a good one. Okay, let's see. Mark's Music Obsession said, my choice didn't win again. Only once, I think. It was close, Mark. And I really did love that page, the one you voted for. Well, thankfully, his original art still exists. It's still out there, Mark. Ouch, Bancroft. I like the last page the most out of the choices, the one with the coaster. Yeah, it was a good one. It was a really good one. It's great Daredevil poses. I don't think I'm stepping out of line saying Pear's art is not for everyone, Michael Bancroft says. Yeah, I mean, it's just so different. And I'm okay with that. I would rather, sorry, excuse me. I would rather have an artist that gets extreme reactions. And again, this is probably why I love Miller's current style, because it gets such extreme reactions, both good and bad, from fans, right? And so I would rather that. You'd never want to create a piece of art that people are like, yeah, like a lukewarm response, like, oh yeah, that's good art. Like you want somebody to go, what? Or wow, like that's what the kind of, it's got to stir up an emotion in you, as opposed to like, oh yeah, it's good, just flip next page. Like, and I think his artwork does that. So I think, and what will take it to the next level for me as I read the story is the storytelling. And I'm not familiar with his storytelling, so we'll see. But that will, like, if it really works for the kind of story they're telling and his pacing and just all his choices that he does, how that balances with Mark Miller's writing. So if they're able to really couple well, then I think it could be cool. So I'm excited to check it out. All right. I think that's it. That was it. 3 hours, Comrade Sammy. 3 hours. I didn't do 7 hours. I got to 3 hours. So not bad. That's pretty average for me. So yeah, we got to look through some pretty awesome stuff today. Just a whole smattering of weird, a lot of weird stuff, a lot of different stuff, not your normal fare. But it was quite a bit of books came out, and I found a lot of interesting stuff on top of my normal usuals that I get. So hopefully you guys enjoy that and saw something that you liked in that whole batch. Art in Times with Jay Ryan says, yeah, I like to see a variety in the art form. Everyone can share their vision. I have no qualms with that at all. Paris art smells like river water and basketball sweat. You need to come up... You need to give him that as a quote for his next book. I think he'd appreciate that. 3 hours and how many minutes, Rocky? It says 3 hours and 1 minute. So we did it. We did it, guys. It's pungent. Wow. Well done, Art and Times with Jay Ryan. That's it. You just summarized it all in one word. I'm glad you managed to keep your nerdiest under 7 hours. You know what? I'm doing that for you guys. It's because you guys mean something to me. Feels like it kind of got on for another 2 hours. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you for sticking around this long. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you put up with my nerdiness. So yeah, I would love to get another master study, or the next master study started this week. We'll see how it goes. Keep your eyes peeled for a notification where we will start penciling this bad boy and get it going, because I'm really excited. I'm really nervous, but I'm really excited to break this down and do it on stream with you guys. So stay tuned. Thanks for coming. Hit that like, and I will see you guys soon. In the meantime... I just blanked. I blanked. In the meantime, what? In the meantime, stay with the notifications. Blah, blah, blah. Hit the like, subscribe. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Here we go. Art share is in an hour and a bit. Okay, go to Bancroft's channel. Watch his art show. Oh, and don't forget, Spring Ball. Always going to promote Shant's stuff. Did I lose that page? We'll go one more time. Spring Ball, Terminal Monstrosity. Please go back. Shant's book. Super excited for him. Let's look. Look, it went up while we was here. I'm gonna say that's because of me. No. 17,300, 294 backers. Shant's killing it. Spring Ball, Terminal Monstrosity. Terminal Monstrosity. #1. Super excited for that. Please back that book. Support my brother. And go check out Michael Bancroft's Art Share. That's coming up. Always a good time. Always a fun time. I'll see you guys soon. I've overstayed my welcome. I apologize. I'm going another hour just saying goodbye. Bye-bye.